Steve Payne couldn't pass up a sweet deal. Danny Johnson went through several teams. And now, who knows? The venues. At Charlotte, the mighty modifieds lit up the sky, starring Tim McCready and Doug Hoffman. And Five Wide Racing wowed them at fabled Eldora. Familiar faces. Brett Hearn dethroned Kenny Tremont at the Valley. Bob McCready warmed hearts with Son Tim after his 300th dirt victory. And the Hall of Fame will wait for Jack Johnson as he won another Fonda feature. First timers. Hagerstown was the place. Gary Tompkins finally got one. Steve Poirier's advanced victory. Sparks singing in the streets in Drummondville. And Vic Coffey outfoxed the Foxes in the big one, the Eckerd 200. The incidents. Occasionally, tempers got the better of us. Hey, racing's a contact sport. Todd Burley found out the hard way. The radio actually flew out of the car. The Moody Miles struck again. This crash involved 1/3 of the field. Though the damage was severe, safety was preserved. The racing. Tim Hindley's mystery machine almost stole the Subway 75. Always in the thick of it, Tim McCready lost a war with Hearn at Fonda. Then outlasted Danny Johnson in the race of the year at Weedsport. The champions. Dave Schultz did the expected. He's the Empire Sports Network Pro Stock Mr. Dirt. Randy Chrysler rode his way to the Sunoco A+ Sportsman title. Steve Payne made a choice. He chose wisely as he wears the Turning Stone Casino Resort 358 crown. And Alan Johnson lived a dream. A Mr. Dirt champion after 20 years. An amazing performance. Today, one memory remains. Eastern States. It's the DynoMAX 200. And it's live on Rush Hour.
Today, we'll add another name to that long list. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eric Thomas, along with Shane Andrews. Shane, so much prestige involved in this race. You win here, they don't soon forget your name. And some drivers have even had the luxury of winning this race more than once.
Some of the greatest names to ever wheel a modified have won the Eastern States 200. Tasnady, Schneider, Cagle, Johnson, Rudeman. And of course, there's two legends that are in the making in today's field, and they're both four-time winners. Brett Hearn and Danny Johnson. Throw into that mix the 98 winner Billy Decker and the local favorite, the 2000 winner Chuck McKee.
One other factor, this is the culmination of a 2002 season. Crazy season for some, but you want to end the campaign on a positive note if you can.
A great finish today will help propel a driver into next season, and it also makes for a shorter off-season with a good run.
Well, one of those drivers who needs a win, well, there's a few of them. They've won this race before, but to rescue what some may consider to be subpar seasons would like another one. And one of those drivers is standing by trackside with our own Mark Kenyon. Mark?
Hello, everybody. This is Mark Kenyon. I'll be down here in the pits bringing you all the action on top of all the stories. But one of the drivers who really needs to get momentum, really needs to get going, as he said to me earlier, is Billy Decker, and we're here with Billy. Billy, unbelievable. I mean, when is the last time you can remember you not winning a series race?
I don't know. It's been a long, tough summer, but there's no giving this Ross Motorsports team. You know, Randy Ross and this entire crew is working really hard, and we're doing the best we can. We just need to do a little better. We could use a little time off this winter to regroup and see what we have to do. And Maraboto's really supporting us, so we're looking forward to getting through this race and putting our best foot forward for here today and see if we can come out swinging next spring.
In 1998, it seemed like you could do no wrong. Whatever you did, it went right. Syracuse, 3 out of 4 or 5 years, you're the man, and all of a sudden now you're in this little bit of a slump. What do you think you've got to do here today to turn it around and get into some momentum to carry you?
Come here to win, and that's our full intention. Scott and Peach and PMG were really make some improvements, make some changes. Hopefully they'll pan out pretty better now. We'll see what we can do.
even at Syracuse, you ran out of gas. It just seems like you've run out of luck almost. I mean, is that what this team needs? Because I know you haven't forgotten how to win, and this team hasn't forgotten how to win. What's the secret here today for chassis and motors and fuel?
Well, we need some fun. And I'm a firm believer that primarily almost all the time you make yourself your luck, and you got to put yourself in a position to be lucky. That's something that we haven't done this summer very much, and we need to win. And I don't know if it's a car, that motor, or myself. I think it's a combination. We just need to get something that I'm comfortable with and everybody's comfortable working on. Very good team, and there's too many good guys on this team. And when you're surrounded by the good people that I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded by, good things happen. And we'll dig out of this hole, and I'm sure hopefully next year at this time when you're talking to us, we're having a whole lot better year.
Well, there's one way to look at this. When your luck is going good, it's bound to go bad. When your luck is going bad, it's bound to go good. Billy Decker hoping for some good luck here today to turn it around.
Well, one of the preliminary races in behind us here, you saw it in behind Billy Decker and Mark Kenyon down there. The rain we've had here this weekend has pushed a lot of the show here to this Sunday, so that's what the race is going on the racetrack and behind us here. Decker won this race in '98. Shane, can he take any of that expertise and that knowledge into the event this afternoon?
He sure can. Billy Decker is a professional. He is a proven winner. He knows how to get around this Orange County Fair Speedway. That team may be down, but they are definitely not out. And I have to reference something that Billy Decker said. He said the chips were down. Well, that's the sign of a true champion and a true championship team. They know that over the offseason they've got to go to the table, regroup, rehash, and be stronger in the spring.
And the Decker fans should never forget, too, and they'll be quick to remind us that he also won the 358 championship at Super Dirt Week. So, no, it's been a subpar season for a guy like Decker, but he's had a couple of high spots, and certainly Syracuse is one of them.
And it has been a subpar season for the Adam Ross Motorsports team. They were used to many wins and track championships, and neither fell their way this season. And it's surprising that he did not win on the Advanced Auto Parts Modified Super Dirt Series Tour in 2002, but he is definitely a contender in this race today.
Better luck for the number 91. There's another driver standing by with Mark Kenyon who definitely needs a turn of better luck. Mark, take it away.
An eternal better luck would be an understatement. Kenny, what a year. Where do you start? The Mr. Dirt race, 17.5, the point championship at Lebanon Valley. Just an off year for you right now. Tell us about it.
Well, I think we blew a tire leading the Mr. Dirt race, I think, with about 6 or 7 laps to go. And I think from there everything went downhill. But, it's been tough. It's one of those things. We've had a lot of good years, so I guess we got to take a little bit of the bad with it. Syracuse were leading out with a half lap to go and ran out of fuel. Ended up breaking a motor the last point race at Lebanon Valley. So, it's just been one of those years. Kind of glad today's the last day.
Take me back to Syracuse, because a lot of guys trying to go 125 laps on fuel. You were probably the only guy in my book that had it figured right. You went that one lap. Here you are. You're having the year you're having. You're leading the Eckerd 300. You come down. You take the white flag. Your guys are on the radio probably yelling, 20 lead, because you were gone. You were checked out. Take me back to that. You come under the white flag and take me from there.
Well, I mean, the car really ran well, and the pit stop strategy, everything was perfect. We got to the end of the race, and I really thought we could make that last lap, but it ended up that we ran quite a few extra laps under the yellow that weren't counted after a red flag, which is the rules. And then at the end of the race, I think lap 198, one of the fellows ran out of gas, so we had to finish the race under the green, which ended up to be a green-white checker finish. So there was probably maybe 6 extra laps or so that we didn't really bank on, so it's hard to figure your fuel miles. We planned on going 200 laps, and I think we ended up going like 206 or 207. It's just one of those things. If I had to do it over again tomorrow, I'd do the same thing.
Heartbreaking finish. My heart went out to you. But what do you got to do here today? The Eastern States, last race of the year. Can you do something here that can build in for next season? Can you get some momentum here, get a win?
I think so. I think Alan Johnson won this race last year, and then this year he's the overall Mr. Dirt champion. We need to run well. I mean, we've run decent, but I think we need to run a little bit better to be able to come up through the field. Track position is real important, so the pit stop's going to be key. And then from there, you still need a good car, because I have to pass quite a few cars.
Talk about what you need in this race. You need a good car, good motor, good driver. Kenny Tremont's got all of that. He needs a little luck, and what he needs is good luck, not the bad luck he's had. So back to you guys.
Well, you've got to think that the luck can only get better for Kenny Tremont. And forgive me if it's an old tired cliche, but you want good things to happen to good people, and the Tremonts are some of the best folks you can ever run into in the pits.
They're absolutely fantastic people, and they've overcome a lot of adversity on and off the track here in 2002. And that family embodies what dirt motorsports is all about. And in a word, it's family. You've got Ken Jr. behind the wheel. His dad, Ken Sr., builds the motors on the race car. His kids work on the race car, and of course his wife, she takes care of the souvenirs engineer portion of the business. A definite family atmosphere in the pits at the Tremont rinks.
But the mark of a true professional is something that running out of gas at Syracuse on the last lap would deflate anybody else, but you know the professionalism is there when the Tremonts, you saw them on camera, they're fine, they're upbeat. Yeah, they've had a lot of bad luck, but you know they're going to bounce back from it.
And they will, and he will take that and he will use that as momentum, and he will use that as a power to make himself want to work harder and to be better and to make that team that much more powerful in 2003.
Let's change our storyline here and talk about our defending champion, Dr. J, Daring Dan, the stock car man. Danny Johnson out of Rochester, New York, has got more nicknames than anybody we know. He won this race last year on Rush Hour. He's our defending race champion. But in actual fact, Shane, he wasn't really supposed to win this race last year.
Last year, odd circumstances, Danny was looking for a ride, and a ride happened to come open in the J. James number 27, and the doctor in his second race in that car picked up the Eastern States 200. It shows that Danny is very versatile when it comes to racing.
Can he make it 2 in a row? He's won this championship in his career 9 times. More on that story. Once again, Mark Kenyon.
Well, you know, the old question all the time, how much of it is the car and how much of it is the driver? Over the years, I've watched Danny Johnson get in a number of cars that were good, cars that were just not good at all, never qualified, and he always manages to find a way to come to the front. Well, today, Danny Johnson is going to be driving the Smith Brothers car. Little different twist, Tio Pro car. Dr. J in a Tio car. Let's see what he does with that. Precision engine under the hood. Don't count Danny Johnson out. This is a great ride. This car has a lot of experience. His crew has a lot of experience here at this track. Daytime, nighttime, they know what they're doing with this car. Danny Johnson will be a factor in this race before the day's out. Mark my words. Back to you guys.
I don't know. Danny wasn't there. Is he taking a nap? He's always pretty relaxed before a big race. You never know. But we cannot underemphasize the fact that we know that Johnson is a career Troyer guy. All of a sudden, he's in a Tio car.
That's right. Steve Hastings and Joey North, the owners of the number 74, they have Tio chassis in their fleet, and the doctor needed a ride. That's what he's got to drive.
Lots more people to talk to, lots more stories to tell. We're working closer to the green flag from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by DynoMAX Performance Exhaust, one of the brands of Tenneco Automotive, by Sunoco A+, 24-hour convenience, and by Eckerd. Get more.
Good, steady, scabby. Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, and Mark Kenyon. Shane, similar to the 258 Mr. Dirt Championship with Steve Payne, we've already crowned our modified Mr. Dirt champion. An unpredictable season, but obviously a career year for the man they call AJ Slideways.
2 words to describe Alan Johnson, the man. Since the first green flag back in April, he has been the one to beat.
Down with the man, the other man, Mark Kenyon.
And the men, they're just hanging out in the back of the trailer here. We're just talking with Alan Johnson. Alan, 20 years after you win the championship, you win it again. Are you aware that I think only Richard Petty had to wait that long?
No, it's interesting, but yeah, it's been a long time, but we're lucky to get it. I'm just with a high caliber team this year, and it's paid off.
Alan, did you ever think that, with this Randy Kosaki team and Jim Beachy and stuff, in the midsummer, I remember back at Weedsport, you drew a line in the sand. I mean, you just made your stamp that Labor Day weekend. You won 2 out of 3. Is that when you really said, this is it, I'm throwing down the gauntlet, everybody else is going to have to catch me?
Well, I don't know if it went like that, but, we had a month or so where we were racing on our home tracks, and we just excelled on our home tracks, and it came at an opportune time when we needed the points.
Brett Hearn was quoted recently in the racing paper as saying that you're one of the most tenacious drivers and a guy who never forces the issue. If it isn't there, you don't try to force it, and you're always there at the end. What do you think about that?
Well, that might be true to a point. That's what wins championships, and that's how I make my living racing. If I'm not there in a checker flag lap, I don't get paid. So, you tend to race a little different when you have that kind of outlook, I think.
This guy is as cool as the other side of the pillow. Just sitting down here right now, he is just ready to race. And I'll tell you right now, everybody else better look out, because Alan Johnson's only laid back when he's out of the race car. Back to you.
Uncatchable terror in the 70s and 80s, and right now, second prong of his attack for his career, just as good, just as competitive, just as successful as he ever was when this kid first broke in.
That's right, a great resurgence by a veteran on the dirt motorsports circuit, Alan Johnson.
Well, 3 big block titles, Brewerton, Rolling Wheels, and at Cayuga County Fair Speedway, and a 358 championship as well at Fulton Speedway. So we said it from the top. There's no other way to describe it, Shane. A career year for Alan Johnson. Let's have a look. Out of 27 of 28 races, it all comes down to the final round here. Alan Johnson has already clinched it. You got Brett Hearn, then Tim McCready, Tim Fuller, Gary Tompkins, a great climber to the top 5 for him, and Billy Decker. And you're seeing the number of points behind the guy in front of them in our minus column over there on the right-hand side.
A lot of things could change between Tompkins and Decker, as they are only separated by 30 points. So those guys racing not only on a track for position, but also for a little extra money at the end of the year.
Brett Hearn can't win this championship, but you know he's going to be extra determined. 7 through 12.
Danny Johnson's not too far behind, and Kenny Tremont nipping on his heels. Pat Ward had a good run. He could be a factor today in this race. Chuck Bauer, Steve Payne, and Vic Coffey, your top 12.
Coffey, of course, with that miracle at Syracuse, claiming the Eckerd 200 when Kenny Tremont ran out of gas on the last lap. But to Vic's credit, you've got to be in the right place at the right time when something terrible happens to the leader.
That's right. You know, Kenny Tremont said he didn't have any luck at all. Vic Coffey had all the luck fall his way back at Syracuse.
This is the final race of the 2002 season. There's the colorful scene on pit road. A very crowded standing room only here on pit road. The 150, the Sunoco Plus 150, pushed ahead to an evening affair. It was a romp for Brett Hearn.
It sure was. Brett Hearn, a 14-time track champion. Danny Johnson was challenging in lap traffic, but it was all Brett Hearn at the end, picking up a cool $7,500 for his efforts.
It was a Hearn holiday in the 358 championship, but here comes the big block side of the Eastern States. Can Brett Hearn reign supreme here today, too? Back once again trackside. And Mark Kenyon.
I'm down here with Brett Hearn, and Brett, I sat up in the stands last night and watched you run the small block race, and I don't know if it was your ego getting too big or what, but you ran that race just in a dominant fashion. You were out to lap the field. Can you afford to run like that here today?
Yeah, I think last night was a situation where we had to get some room when we got the lap cars, and we almost got messed up a bunch of times in lap cars and almost got caught at the end of lap cars. We couldn't get enough distance, so I had to run the car fairly hard, and the car was a little bit tight to start out the race. So, again, I had to run the car. I couldn't let up too much because it would just make the car handle worse. So I had to run pretty aggressively and stay aggressive in lap cars. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen today. I think perhaps we're going to see a little bit different track than what we've seen like in the last 8 or 10 years with this new clay and the surface. It's going to be a little slicker. I don't think it's going to take rubber, and I don't think it's going to be a one particular spot on the track that you have to be. So I think it'll make for a better race, I think, in the end.
You're probably aware of this, but you've led like 350 laps of the last 350 laps that we raced in dirt. Can you make it 550 here today?
Man, I don't know. I don't know how long a streak you can go like that, but you know, I've been real fortunate to qualify good and start in the front or near the front. Led a lot of laps. You know, I would like to win this one today very badly for the Budweiser team, and we got a great engine chassis package with Enders and T.O. and all these other people that support us. I mean, it's been a great season for me, and you know, whatever happens today, I'm going to go into the winter thinking I had a good year, and that's sometimes not the case. I mean, sometimes you got the pressure of points going into this last race. Sometimes your whole winter hinges on this race. For me, it's not going to hinge on this race, but I still want to win it.
You know, he's down here racing in the pits, and I'll tell you what, I think he was this hungry in the first time he won. He's got a billion wins here, whatever the number is, whatever the track champions is, but he wants this race today as bad as I've ever seen him want any race. Back to you guys.
14-time career track champion in Orange County Fair Speedway. He makes his weekly home now at Lebanon Valley, but you haven't won this track championship 14 times by being crummy. Those are some great credentials coming into this race.
That's
today.
right, and some other credentials to add to Brett Hearn's resume this year. His previous best season was 39 wins. With that win last night in the Sunoco Race Fuel Small Block race, it was his 42nd win of the season. If he can win today, it'll be 43.
Well, when you think that he just claimed his 600th feature win this past summer, you got to think, well, guys like Kinzer in the World of Outlaws, Bloomquist in dirt late models, you got to think that Brett Hearn is one of the finest dirt track racers in America look at today?
Well, he was named one of the top 5 small short track drivers in the United States in a poll that was done by fans just a year and a half ago, and he was mentioned with the Scott Bloomquist, the Donnie Morans, and the Steve Kinzers.
Off the top of the show, we talked about legendary names who have won this race. It's been a long time since the Barefoot one won this contest. He's standing by with Mark Kenyon. Tim McCready.
I've got the tender-footed one, not the barefooted one. Tim McCready. Tim McCready, tell me about it. It hasn't really been this season like last year. You know, you came in here last year and second in points, and then the big wreck and everything, and you got some bad memories here. You're trying to race today. Tell me about it.
You know, you live and die by making moves in this racing deal, and then I wouldn't trade anything. I make that move as much as we can all through the year, and I didn't make it look good. If I make it, we're talking about what a move it was to maybe win the race last year. So it's all part of it, and I almost did the same thing last night in the 358. So who knows? I hit the wall over here. Maybe I'll end up in that one down there today. I don't know. We're going to go out and have fun. We ain't got to worry about points. We know where we're at. We ain't going up. We're not going down. So a lot of good things are happening. We got a new sponsor again. We got Brookie's Cookies for this year, and Sue Hearn's daughter, Brooke, she makes a mean cookie. So we're going to hopefully get her some more sales after today.
And you got some new crew members. Tell me about your new crew members that have joined you here for the weekend with our dirt contest.
Yeah, there was 2 school teachers from Port Byron that I think they had like 800 people sign up for. It's a pretty neat deal that AMG and everybody that puts this deal together, Dirt selected our team as a team to do this with. It's kind of something that makes you feel good, and it's just, they usually do it with Brett, and they do it with a lot of these other teams, and it's just nice to know that maybe they think we're professional enough as a team, and with John Finch as an owner and everybody that puts this deal together to put 2 people in here that don't get to a lot of races and say, well, this is kind of a professional team, and this is how you want to do it. So, and we're just having fun. I hope the girls had fun this weekend. They wouldn't do too much. We couldn't get them. We tried to force them, but they wouldn't do a lot. So they're just kind of watching. So.
All right, Timmy McCready, good luck. Tim McCready, you're looking at the future of the sport right there as he straps into his number 56 to do battle at the Orange County Fair Speedway.
Well, they may have teed up the wrong kind of foot out there, but whether it's Tim McCready or Bob McCready, there's an awful lot of racing talent in that family.
5 Advanced Series wins this year for Tim McCready, really coming to age.
We're going to talk about track conditions, the starting grid, and a whole lot of other stuff as we move closer to the green flag from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
It's SRO, standing room only. Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, and Mark Kenyon. Talked about some of the veterans who have done well here, want to do it again. There's some other young guns besides Tim McCready who also want a shining glory today, too.
That's right. A couple of regulars here at the Orange County Fair Speedway. Chris Schultz, who moved up to the modified ranks here just 2 years ago, has really made his presence known. And another guy that races here on a weekly basis in the sportsman ranks, making his first big block start, David Van Horn, second-generation driver out of Harmony, New Jersey.
We mentioned they are crammed into every pew here at Orange County Fair Speedway. Do they have a hometown favorite? I think they do, and he's standing by with Mark Kenyon.
And I'm down here with Chuck McKee, and he definitely is the hometown boy. Track championship this year. Chuck, take me back 2 years ago when you won this race.
I'll tell you, the car was real good. The crew worked real good. The strategy paid out, perfectly. We just have to keep the car in one piece, and we'll see if we can do it again. But, that year was a great year. Everything went real smooth. The track condition was excellent for us for the setup, and other than that, it was really great.
And then this year, the big boys from the Super Dirt Series come into your house, and you kick them out. Tell me about that.
We like when they come down here. It makes us we have to work a little bit harder to get where we have to get to the front. But, you're only as good as the people you race against. And when you can beat those guys, you've done something.
Tell me about today. You won the track championship again here today over Hetzler and, this year. And tell me about today. What do you got to do today? Because you're in pretty good shape here.
We have to get through the first 50 laps. And then after that, that's where the plan that we have of attack to finish the race off, that's where it's going to pay off, hopefully.
This is his house, Chuck McKee. He knows how to win here. He's won this race before. Do not, and I repeat, do not count him out.
Nobody knows the hard clay like Chuck McKee.
That's right. And he has a lot of laps on this place, track champion for 2002.
Let's have a look at our conditions and our race graphics and just tell you what's been going on here conditions-wise at Orange County Fair Speedway. The rain has all moved away. Man, we got soaked here on Saturday, and we had to push everything here today. But the weatherman, Shane, take it away for today.
Beautiful, 53 degrees, 67% humidity. A little windy, though, 12 to 15 miles per hour out of the west, and it is a bit overcast, mostly cloudy here at Orange County.
1,000% better than it was yesterday. There's sun around the edges here. We're going to have the sun peeking out behind clouds. That could become a factor later on as the sun gets a little bit lower in the sky. But the rain has moved away, and we're all set to go.
And you can still see some of the remnants from the moisture over the last couple of days.
200 laps, 125 miles. It's a 5/8 mile facility. Last 2 laps have to be run under green. Total prize money, $62,200. Give and take a quarter here and there. Winner's share about 20 grand. And our defending race winners you mentioned, Daring Dan, the stock car man, Danny Johnson. Even though he's in a different car again, I like his chances to do it again.
5/8 mile in length, 660 feet on the straightaways, and it's 3 degrees in turn number 1 and 2 and 5-degree banking in turn number 3 and 4. So really, it's a little bit different shape on both ends of the speedway. Very challenging to these drivers.
Yesterday, just after the rain, as they tried to work this track in, you could have hidden small people in the mud. What's the condition down there today, Mark Kenyon?
Well, we're down here on the track, and I'll tell you what a difference a year makes. They put down clay in the fall and over the winter, and this clay, I have never seen this place, and I've talked to all the drivers, never seen this place as smooth as it is. The only little tricky part is right here. We got a little moisture coming down across the track, and just in case you fall asleep and get bored, right when the motor is making peak horsepower, you'll hit this and maybe buzz the tires, but just to make it interesting.
It's always interesting here at Orange County Fair Speedway because it's a place that can be very fast. But as he says, if you fall asleep for a second, there's a couple little wet spots around here.
That's right.
To make it as if it needs to be more interesting here on the hard clay.
And you know, Mark said that they're going to hit top end right there at that little wet spot, but then another 45 to 50 feet down the straightaway into turn number 1 is where they're going to burp the motors, and they're going to be flat-footing it all the way around into turn number 3.
Time to fire up the big blocks. Mark Kenyon, take it away.
And I'm down here with Carl Tiller. Carl, give us those words that we want to hear. Turn these big guys on.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Carl Tillier gives the command to fire the engines. Chuck McKee, Kenny Tremont is ready to go. Brett Hearn, can he do it again? 14-time track champion. He'd love to finish off the year back at his old stomping grounds here at Orange County. So the cars are moving away and a whole lot less mud than there was here yesterday. Bob McCready fires. There's Vic Coffey, the miracle winner at Super Dirt Week. Pat Ward is underway as well. Alan Johnson in the Pillsbury car in the number 1. Everybody fired, everybody moving. Tim McCready, Billy Decker, they're all moving out here. The best dirt track racers in terms of big block modifieds anywhere in the United States ready to roll.
Assembled in one place, and that's the Orange County Fair Speedway for this DynoMAX Eastern States 200. What a day. You know, Mother Nature's cooperating. The place is full. Eric, the drivers are ready to go. We're excited. This is going to be a fantastic race.
It will be unbelievable. The 200 always is, and it's the way we end off our season. Let's give you the starting grid. 11-time career Eastern States winner. Orange County Fair Speedway's winningest driver, Brett the Jet Hearn, out of Sussex, New Jersey. On the pole beside him, the veteran, the barefoot one, Bob McCready out of Watertown, New York, the 94 winner.
Row number 2, Chris Whitehead out of Sussex, New Jersey, an Orange County Fair Speedway regular. And the Eckerd 200 winner, Vic Coffey in the 32C out of Leicester, New York.
Row number 3, smooth and steady, wins the race for Pat Ward out of Genoa, New York, the Can-Am 358 champion. And AJ Slideway's Alan Johnson of the Phelps, New York, our 99 winner.
Row number 4, Jeff Hetzler, a regular here. He's the 98 track champion out of Wallkill, New York. And Tim McCready, he was 3rd in Mr. Dirt points coming into this race, still is 3rd.
Row number 5, it's Billy Decker out of Unadilla, New York, our 98 winner, wants another one. And Rick Burkaitis, the Penn Can regular in car number 77.
2 Orange County Fair Speedway regulars in row number 6, Gary Edwards out of Bloomingburg, New York, and Butch Tittle, the Z car out of Sailorsburg, Pennsylvania.
Here's the hometown favorite in row 7 on the inside, the 19 of Chuck McKee out of Middletown, New York, our winner in 2000. And Danny Johnson in car number 74 out of Rochester, New York, a 4-time big block winner at Eastern States.
Row number 8, AJ Romano out of Johnstown, New York, Fonda regular in the Skip Seymour car. And Kenny Tremont, 3-time 358 Eastern States winner out of West Sand Lake, New York.
Row number 9 on the inside, the 10 of Richie Urich out of Johnstown, New York. He won here in 88. And Rick Hill out of Lafayette, New Jersey in car 53 in Orange County Fair Speedway regular.
Tim Fuller in the B&F General Machine number M1 out of Edwards, New York. And Gary Tompkins fifth in Mr. Dirt points coming into this race in the number 84 makeup row, number 10.
Row number 11 is Bill Wilson out of Ramsey, New Jersey, a veteran of this facility, and Bobby Barron in the 98D out of Sharon Springs, New York.
A couple of young guns in row number 12, Frankie Caprera out of Watertown, New York, 20 years old, and David Van Horn. He's a teenager, the youngest starter in this race out of Harmony, New Jersey.
Lucky 13, Jerry Higby out of Middletown, New York, a regular in this facility, and Jumpin' Jack Johnson out of Waynesburg, New York. He won this race way back in '85.
Row number 14, Mike DePalma out of Goshen, New York. He's a regular here at the Speedway. And Steve Payne, winless on the Super Dirt Series this year in the Sweeteners Plus number 7X.
Picking up row 15, it's Craig Mitchell out of Wilmington Falls, New York, and the 33 1/3 of Tommy Meyer out of Waldwick, New Jersey.
Marco Potvin out of Sable, Quebec in row number 16, and Chris Schultz, he is a Orange County Fair Speedway regular in the number 24.
Row 17, the 30 of Scott Goodrich out of Middletown, New York, another local favorite, and Mario Claire out of St. Edmunds, Quebec, the French-Canadian standout in car 22.
Bob Dinney will start on the inside of row number 18 out of Valley Cottage, New York, and next to him, Tony Page Jr. out of Ellenville, also a regular here at the track.
Couple of hard hitters. Watch these guys come from the back. Row 19, Chuck Bauer and Frank Jasymbowski.
Steve Dodd in the number 88 and Ray Jasymbowski in the number 81.
And Scott Frazier and Kurt Horton in row number 22. Jason Barney does the rest of the field down to row number 21 and down on through. So it's a full field ready to go here and end off the season the best way they know how. Everybody wants to win this. Guys have got better chances than others, but watch for some of those fast guys in the back and the mid portion of the back to make a charge to the front. It sounds cliche-ish. Yeah, they're going to do that, but at this place especially, some of those guys know how to get around this place and get that done.
That's right, and they've got a long row to hoe as there's some very fast cars up in front. Of course, Brett Hearn and Bob McCready, and we mentioned Brett Hearn got his 600th win this year. Well, Barefoot Bob McCready got his 300th Dirt Motorsports big block win, and then backed it up with his 301st win. So Bob McCready also setting a couple of milestones this year.
Orange County Fair Speedway pace car taking the field down pit road. Just getting them an idea. Maybe, I don't know, there's a pit lane speed limit here. I wouldn't think so, quite frankly, but the pits are going to be watching very carefully, and Mark Kenyon is going to be plugged in down there. You know why? Because there isn't a room to swing a kitten down there, let alone a cat. It is very, very cramped on the pits here.
And of course, they're taking the cars down pit lane to also work some of the moisture into the surface through the pit area. A lot of rain coming in over the last couple of days, as we saw yesterday, and they just want to, as a safety precaution, run the cars down through and kind of work that moisture out so nobody is hurt down there on the pit lanes.
Mark Kenyon, you have more on this pit road story.
I'm down here on the pit road, and I'll tell you what, the pit lane at all the races we do, this is absolutely the narrowest pit lane. There's only basically 2.5 car widths between the pit wall and the outer racetrack wall. But pit conditions down here are very good. The pits are dry and they're tacky. Dirt's done a great job grading it out. These crews have got sawdust down in their pits, and I don't see any problems here today. But you know, there's no pit road speed limit. So these guys are going to come off the track running 120, 130 miles an hour and come blowing down into these tight pits. And I'll tell you what, keep your eyes peeled because there's going to be action down here today in the pits.
Well, they answered my question about whether or not there's a pit road speed limit. There isn't one, so it's basically heads up on pit road, and you really got to be careful down there. White flag from the flagman. You see it there in the upper left-hand portion of your screen down to the middle portion of your screen, just about ready to turn these guys loose, and this is amazing because we're going to end off a 2002 Dirt Modified season the best way we know how with the 41st Annual Eastern States Weekend. Happy to have you with us on Rush Hour.
Now, there is going to have to be a pit stop today, but the cars cannot pit until after lap 50.
Gotcha.
So they can pit after lap 50.
So that is the window. You can pit if you want to, I guess, before that, but you got to pit again after lap 50. So
that's right.
You're going to see guys more or less stay out here until lap 50, unless, of course, something goes wrong, a flat tire or some damage. This can get pretty hairy. Look at this field. Don't they look gorgeous?
They look pretty.
Yeah, they sure do. This is what you pays your money to come to see, boys and girls. Pace car is off on pit lane. You got Brett Hearn. You got Bob McCready leading them down to take the green. And we're underway for the 41st Annual Eastern States Weekend on Rush Hour. Hang on to your coffee tables, kids. Here we go. Brett Hearn on the brake will take the lead down the back stretch of the number 3.
Really no surprise surprised to see Brett Hearn jet out to the top spot right off the start. You know, after last night's performance, he wants to back that up by getting out in front and racing as fast as he can away from everybody else.
14-time career track champion at Orange County Fair Speedway. Brett Hearn now makes his regular weekend stop at Lebanon Valley. He won the track championship there. He's won a whole bunch here. You know there's extra vengeance with Brett the corporate jet to come out here and do some damage and win this one because he walked away easily with the 358 championship last night here at Orange County. Good battle there with Vic Coffey.
Yes, Bob McCready started second. He got shuffled back to third on the start as Chris Whitehead, just going out of your screen in the 244 car. Whitehead built that car himself from the ground up, and it's paying dividends right now as he runs in second, as the McCready number 9 has his hands full with the 32C of Coffey.
The last guy who could eyeball a chassis on the ground and build it from scratch was Kenny Brightbill. And to have a young man come through and build a car like that that's handling as well as it does up against the T.O.s, the Bicknells, and the Troyers out there, that is an amazing story. Look at McCready hanging this thing out on the outside. He gets up in the loose stop because he brushed the wall. He came within inches of doing that.
And you know they're going to continue to move that groove up to the top side of the raceway. As these cars start to pick up speed even more as the laps go on, they're going to be drifting up a little bit higher, and that right rear tire is going to push that groove right up to the wall.
Nick Coffey out of Leicester, New York, hurling that Bicknell chassis 32. Just kicking that back end around that corner, trying to find some distance here, some room to get around if he can. Bob McCready pulls up alongside. McCready's got extra horsepower, and he pulls it around the outside. That's not easy to do here.
No, it isn't. And think of the confidence that Vic Coffey has behind the wheel of that car. 2 weeks ago, won the biggest race in dirt motorsports with the Eckerd 200, and that was his first Advanced Auto Parts Modified Super Dirt Series win. He has got a world of confidence right now, and he's driving like he has it.
Brett Hearn up front. But a great battle right now on your screen on a 5 of 200. We have just lifted the lid on the DynoMAX 200. It's Bob McCready, the barefoot one, the 94 winner. Vic Coffey, as you mentioned, Shane, the miracle winner. We've got a problem. The car's slowing on the backstretch. Is that Danny Johnson back there?
It is the Dr. Danny Johnson in the Smith Brothers number 74.
Oh, no. There you see him there. He's got a left rear coming right. Looks like
the axle might have broken.
It might have broken. I don't think that's a flat tire. But the 74 is definitely a wounded automobile, and Danny Johnson, our defending race champion, is in trouble early.
I believe he may have some clay packed right into that right rear tire. Look at as he comes down the pit lane. That tire is actually wheel hopping. It is off balance, and it looks like there is clay in that rim. Yes, there is. There's a good shot of it right there.
Mark Kenyon, what do you see?
Let's let me see if I can get a look at it. Yeah, Danny Johnson's got a big clod of mud jammed in his right rear, and that will definitely throw the tire out of balance. The crew is not going to take the mud out. They've elected to change tires, so maybe Danny didn't like the setup on this, but they're changing tires. That's going to take a little bit of time. The lug nuts are on little whizzers. They're locked on the wheel. They don't come off. The car comes down. 2 more lugs, and Danny will be away. The crew signals the officials. No, I don't know. Danny's not moving. The car is dead. Let me see if I can get in here and get a word.
That's an unfortunate break for...
I'm here. I'm here with Danny Johnson. Danny, what happened?
Rear end broke.
The rear end's busted? The gears, Danny?
The rear end broke. I got mud in the wheel. The rear end broke.
Mud in the wheel, and he broke the rear end. So I think Dr. Johnson never had a chance to flex his muscle in his T.O. car. So it looks like it'd be all over early for Danny today. Too bad.
Exactly, and Dr. Andrews up here diagnosed it correctly. You thought that the rear axle may have been broken, and that indeed happened. A clod of mud in the wheel, but when the axle's busted, that may spell curtains for Danny's chances here
Sure
today.
does. Once that axle's broken, you can't turn the gears over, and the wheels aren't going to turn. You're not going anywhere. It's a tough break because Danny Johnson was really going to be a show with that number 74.
8 of 200. Let's give it to you. Brett Hearn, Chris Whitehead, Bob McCready, Vic Coffey hanging in there. Pat Ward is still in the top 5 too.
Trouble on the front stretch here on the start. A.J. Romano and everybody coming down. Wow.
Heads up.
Hollywood Craig Mitchell just got by.
The sun's in your eyes. The dust is flying. It's awful tough to see down there. Romano was parked just about up against the guardrail, just about a quarter of the way down the front straightaway. A.J. Romano, the Fonda regular out of Johnstown, New York, and everybody had tried to bail out to avoid him. I don't think anybody hit him.
Well, it looks like somebody got into the right rear quarter panel right there on the Skips Racing number 16 machine. Romano out of Johnstown, New York, a regular at the Fonda Speedway. Skip Seymour out of North Norwich, New York, the owner of that car.
Drama has been dripping already. We've got lots more for you, too, so you can't go anywhere, can you? No! From Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York, DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship. We are live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
And they're coming straight at you off the restart. Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship, churning on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, and Mark Kenyon. Early drama, Danny Johnson already out of the race with a busted rear end, and A.J. Romano had a bit of a moment up here on the front straightaway. We have just gotten back underway. The story up front has been the corporate jet, Brett Hearn.
He is pulling away right now. Chris Whitehead back there in second, and the battle for third rages on. Bob McCready and then number 9 car, and Vic Coffey in the 32C going at it tooth and nail for third and fourth.
Great battle. Bob McCready out of Watertown, New York. Won this thing back in '94, and Vic Coffey, fresh off his Eckerd 200 big block win at Syracuse, a regular runner at Ransomville Speedway. A great battle for third on the racetrack. A couple of cars. There's Pat Ward and Tim McCready, the veteran and the new guy, basically. They're battling it out side by side. But back to this hammer and tongs battle with McCready in the Kinney Drugstore's number 9 and Vic Coffey in the Vic Del Chassis 32C.
Well, we knew there was going to be 2 grooves to use, and Billy Decker is using the top side of the Speedway. Look at this. He just took him 3 wide and picked up 2 positions, going by both Pat Ward and Alan Johnson. Decker has definitely found something.
He has. It's up high. You get him in that loose stuff, and you can balance on that tightrope between where the grip is and where the loose stuff is, and you just saw him. He blew by Alan Johnson like he was standing still. Look at Decker in the 91. He's on a rail, and Johnson is going to try the same path.
Well, you know, this rain that came in over the last couple of days, and you heard Mark allude to it, that the drivers have not seen this track that smooth. If the track is that smooth up on the top side of the Speedway, they're going to be able to use that as an upper groove. Oh, boy, look at those 2 go at it, leaning on one another, Bob McCready and Vic Coffey.
Letting it all hang out. Look at them pitch those modifieds of big blocks sideways as they come around the corner. The track is starting to slicken up here, but there is grip on the outside. You go 2 inches too far this way, you're up into the guardrail. But there is a lot of bite out there, but the longer they run on it, the grip goes away. It's one of the beauties of dirt track racing, as the groove continues to change with every lap.
That's right, and these Hoosier tires that they have on there, they are going to lay rubber down on the track, and as the rubber does lay down, as Eric said, you're going to start to lose a little bit of grip. It's going to get slicker. Then throttle management comes into play.
Oh, throttle management. Hearn, Whitehead, McCready, Vic Coffey, Tim McCready, your top 5. The McCready family well represented in the top 5 positions. Showing up there on the screen early in this event. The sun coming out from behind the clouds. That really changes your perspective, especially yellow on the Speedway. We're going to slow it down. Oh, Gary Tompkins in trouble in the 84.
Tough break for Gary Tompkins, the Honey Auto Parts, Red Parker Excavating, number 84 machine.
Regular at Canandaigua Speedway, who really had himself a pretty good season, but it's going to come to a conclusion up against the guardrail here at Orange County.
Gary had himself a fantastic year on the Advanced Auto Parts Modified Super Dirt Series Tour. He won the season opener at the Hagerstown Speedway and then backed it up by winning one of the twin races out at the Rolling Wheels Raceway back in May, and has had success this year. It's been a great season for Gary Tompkins.
There you see him just up against the guardrail, way down to our left. And we'll get Tompkins' car removed and continue on. Brett Hearn is your leader, but there's great battles going on all over the place. So come on back from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship. It's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
We've got you back at Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, Mark Kenyon, part of your afternoon. Glad you're with us. Brett Hearn up front. Craig Whitehead in the second place position. 2 guys from Sussex, New Jersey so far showing the way here in the dust.
And they're having very good success. They've got some great battles that I'm sure they don't want to be watching behind them. And a cluster of cars together right now as the 24 of Chris Schultz trying to make the top side work for him as well.
Chris Schultz, a sportsman, former sportsman standout here at Orange County Fair Speedway. He knows there's grip out there, and you better use it before it goes away. Tim McCready in the 56, the 91 of Billy Decker, the Franklin Flyer out of Unadilla, New York. He likes it out there. He strings that car right up against the mud, encrusted on the guardrail, but he's still finding grip out there. You wonder when it's going to go away. You hope he's not up there when it does, because he's going into the guardrail for sure.
That's the battle for positions 4, 5, 6, and 7 that you're watching right now. Tim McCready and the number 91 of Billy Decker, wheel to wheel, as they go into turn number 1. Watch when Decker comes off of corner number 2. He's going to swing it wide, and as you look down the straightaway on the left side of your screen, there's a mud puddle right there.
There it is.
And if you swing out too far and you get into that, you're going to spray water into the groove, which is going to cause you to lose grip, or even worse, if you hit that, you're going to slap the wall.
Shane, look at this contrast. You got Decker way out to the right, then you got Tim McCready and Alan Johnson, who are getting it done down on the bottom, so there seems to be grip right from down in the apron right up at the top of the racetrack.
And it all depends on if they went there, and everybody had to go with the hard compound tire, but it also depends on what kind of gear you have in the car, what kind of forward weight you're going to get with the car. So your car may work best up high, or it may work in the groove, in the middle groove. And that's going to change throughout this race as the rubber's laid down on the track.
Brett Hearn of Budweiser, number 3, the TO chassis modified, 14-time track champion, 11-time Eastern States champ, has led this thing from the drop of the green, but there are excellent battles going on for positions all the way back into the top 5.
Now remember, Eric, we've seen this before. The top side of the Speedway is the fastest way around. The slowest, actually, I shouldn't say the slowest, the shortest way around the Speedway
I know what you mean.
is the inside.
Yeah. So that's where McCready, there he is in the 56 out of Watertown, New York. Little Bear, as we call him, all kinds of nicknames. I don't know if there's another racing sanctioning body I deal with that has more nicknames for drivers than this was. Big Bear, Little Bear, the Barefoot One, Dr. J, AJ Slideways, all kinds of great colorful names. But Decker really getting the clods of mud flying out there in the 91. He won this thing before. He wants to do it again and rescue what we talked about for some a subpar season. Hearn, Whitehead, McCready, Vic Coffey, Decker, your top 5.
The Franklin Flyer, as he is affectionately known throughout the dirt circuit, in the number 91 machine, having a very good run right now. Tim McCready running back there in 6, Alan Johnson, Jeff Hetzler, Pat Ward, and Butch Tittle holding his own in the top 10 with the Z machine.
Good run there from Butch Tittle out of Sailorsburg, PA. We're yellow on the racetrack, and a car in trouble someplace. We'll pick it up as soon as we can. Sometimes it's just down at our feet here. Up. 32 of 200 will bring out the yellow flag. We can't ID it from here. It's heading straight on. Partly obliterated by the official stand up there. So we'll slow it down again, and Brett Hearn will have to. It might be Tom Hindley. Yes, we think it is. It is.
Tom Hindley.
Yeah, bad break there. So we've had this track eat up a couple of cars so far. The first one, significant one certainly, being Danny Johnson with that busted rear end.
That's right. And Tom Hindley, a Orange County Fair Speedway regular, not the way that he wanted to end his 2002 campaign. Looks like he has some front end damages. He'll be going back to the pits on the hook out of Monticello, New York, in that number 17H machine.
We'll tidy things up and come right back for you from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
They've just turned them loose again at Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship on Rush Hour. Great to have you with us. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews in the booth, and Mark Kenyon on pit road.
And Brett Hearn still out in front, and watching the line that Brett Hearn's been running through this race, a lot different than the line he ran last night with his small block. He was running the extreme high side. Now he's running the middle groove, as well as everybody else except Billy Decker. And Decker has been running the top side of the Speedway. Took a look underneath the Coffey 32C that time.
4th and 5th is still the best battle on the racetrack, with Vic Coffey and the 91 of Billy Decker in there trying to get some ground on the outside. He's still finding grip out there. Let's hope it doesn't go away. There's Tim McCready in the 56. He shuffles his modified running behind the Decker back bumper. But it has been Brett Hearn, Shane Andrews, since the drop of the green flag.
It sure has, flexing his muscles at a track that he was a 14-time champion at. And of course, that's got to be a psychological advantage that Hearn has over all of his competitors. I mean, sure, he went to the Lebanon Valley Speedway and ran this year, but when he comes back here, he's still a favorite to win at this track.
40 laps are in the books. We got to start thinking about some pit activity, and that story is with Mark Kenyon. Mark.
You will get all the pit activity down here after lap 50. These guys have to stop after lap 50 in order for it to count. Brett Hearn, your leader. I imagine that the field will come in, or the leaders will come in with Brett when he decides to pit. Look for it to be a big jumble down here. I don't think you'll see a green. In fact, I know you won't see a green flag pit stop. These guys are going to wait for a yellow. While we were away, Richie Urich came in the pits and changed the right rear, so some guys still hunting for the setup. The other thing, heads up to Chris Whitehead. Built his own chassis, and he's keeping it up there. We may be looking at next year, Bicknell, Troyer, Tio, and a Whitehead chassis.
Interesting combination. And as you track announcers have been known to say, Mr. Andrews, it'll be helter-skelter time down on pit road.
That's right. And look at Chris Whitehead. He just drifted up enough for McCready to get a run on. McCready shut the door on him. Veteran move by McCready.
So Bob McCready will shuffle into second place. Behind Brett Hearn, there's about a 6 or 7 car length advantage for Brett right now over McCready. But we've got a great battle here. Bob McCready, who won this back in '94, hasn't made a whole lot of noise in general the last couple of seasons. Well, his back has been a factor as well. He's had terrible, terrible luck. This could all get erased with a great performance here at Eastern States. And right now, early in the race, 43 of 200. The barefoot one is looking very, very good.
And Bob McCready still has the desire and the fire in his belly to drive and be competitive. And if Bob has got a good race car underneath him, like he has right now, he will not quit. He will go to the end and trying to catch race leader Brett Hearn.
Greg Whitehead in that chassis we were talking about is dropping back into the field here. Now really under attack from the 32 of Vic Coffey. So the young Whitehead is really getting a clinic here on what to do. Tim McCready has got him under his surveillance too, and in his gun sights as well. So Whitehead knows there's a lot of high-rent talent back there kicking on his back door.
Whitehead having a very good run right now, but you know something? He's his own R&D as Vic Coffey takes a peek underneath Whitehead for a position, but he's his own R&D. He does not have anybody to bounce ideas or setups off of on the chassis that he has built from the ground up. So everything that he's learning is right now everything that he has to go by.
Our stats magician Kevin Kovac telling us he was 6th. Bob McCready we're talking about in this race last year, but he's only had one top 20 finish in this race in the last 5 years. So this could be a breakthrough for Bob McCready in a whole lot more ways than one.
Vic Coffey just took 3rd from Whitehead. Timmy McCready and Alan Johnson right there to try and shuffle Whitehead back a couple of more spots, and Coffey drifts up a lane, and that opens the door for Timmy Mack in that Syracuse frame number 56 ride.
Ransomville regular Vic Coffey up there trading shin kicks with all this high rent talent, trying to hang inside the top 5. Whitehead up on the high side of the racetrack, trying to gain some real estate back, but he is slowly dropping back through the field after hanging up near the top part of the grid for a long time.
Well, it's rush hour right now, Eric, as leaders have hit slower traffic and they are slicing and dicing.
Mark Kenyon, take it away, pit side.
Last night, Brett Hearn said to me that he had trouble with the lap cars, and I'll tell you right now, I'm watching these guys coming off 4. Some of these guys, when the leaders are coming up on them, they're racing just that little tick that they don't want to go a lap down, but they're racing a little bit harder. And I'll tell you right now, lap traffic may play a factor here. This is really going to get dicey here with these guys, McCready and Hearn, charging through lap traffic. Yellow on the Speedway, the 81 car, slowing down on the front. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, good observation. It was right in front of you, the 81 machine slowing down, and that's going to bring the yellow out as we're at lap 49, and here comes that pit window. You pit at beyond lap 50 to make it all legal. So we're about to have the charge of the light brigade down pit road, and we hit a yellow just before we get into that window change.
Ray Joshimbowski was the car that slowed down the Speedway to bring out the caution. And Brett Hearn, got to be wondering, does he want to pit this early? And he might. Can he make the distance, 150 laps, if he was to come in right now?
But as Mark said, no doubt when he pits, a lot of other guys are going to pit as well.
And we're looking at pit road in front of us, Eric, and we can see that the crews are getting ready. We are going to see the most chaotic moment in motorsports coming at us in just a very brief moment.
Excellent observation from Kevin Kovac, as we know that he's going to be pitting. Brett Hearn down in the gap. Here he comes. Hang on to yourself, folks. Here we go. Brett Hearn storming down. He's got a gap here in the rail. Let's go down to Mark Kenyon. Mark.
Hearn in the pits hard. He slides the Budweiser number 3 to a stop. McCready right behind him. Vic Coffey. Alan Johnson boxed out. Whitehead trying to get in. It is a madhouse down here. Hearn's away. Tires and fuel. Now it's boxed up. This is trouble down here. Guys cannot get in and out of their pits. Cars are going left and right. We got air hoses. Decker, I think a crew member just got run over. This is bedlam down here. Cars had to stop in the middle of the pits. They can't get through. I'm on the wall. This is a bad situation down here in the pit. Let's see if we can. Very slow pit stops. Hearn, your leader, got in and out clean. And that's the advantage of pitting in the front stall like that. He wasn't blocked in. It just bottlenecked up here. And the Tim McCready and the Alan Johnson got boxed out. Air hoses everywhere. It looks like the worst is over. I'm going to climb down and get back to safety.
Just get up somewhere safe there. I'll tell you what, a disaster for Pat Ward.
Oh, Pat Ward and Jeff Hetzler.
Yeah.
Chris White had stopped right in the middle of pit road, and they decided to change tires, and that blocked Vic Coffey in, who had to wait for Bob McCready to get out. Jeff Hetzler and Pat Ward, no place to go. That may have just cost them the chance to win this race.
Slap me for saying this. I have no idea what the solution is, but there's got to be a better way to do that. There really has to be, because we heard the comment there that somebody may have got their toes run over. You had guys changing tires with cars charging up. You had guys who could leave, who couldn't leave, getting blocked down there. That was as scary as a pit episode as I have ever seen in this sport. And I've seen a lot of racing, as you have too, Shane. That was completely nuts down there, if you want to be absolutely honest about it.
Well, you know, the drivers are cocooned in their cars, so if something happens, the drivers are protected.
Sure.
But unfortunately, the pit crews are the ones that are vulnerable in a situation like that.
And they're not used to doing pit stops.
No, and it's a chaotic moment. You know, majority of the races that they have, they don't have to do tire changes.
Mark Kenyon, a further comment. Go ahead.
I'm down here in the Chris Whitehead pits, and just all hell broke out. What happened there? You guys had to stop in the middle of pit road and jammed it up. What happened?
The 32 long pitted us and we couldn't get in, so I was going to do my service out there. We had to get in and get out.
You mean did Vic Coffey, you think, pulled into your pit? Is that what you're saying?
He pulled a little too far in, yeah. The pit stalls aren't that big here, but you do what you got to do.
That's it. You do what you got to do, but I'll tell you what, we're real lucky to get through that one. A big jam up down here in Whitehead. It cost a lot of guys a lot of positions. We'll have to see how this shakes out in the end.
Well, how it shakes out in the end is that Steve Payne, after that massive shuffle of the deck, is your new leader. Brett Hearn, who had led this thing up until that, well, conflagration or entanglement on pit road, was the commander of this race that you see him there in the Budweiser number 3. But Steve Payne, this year's 358 Mr. Dirt champion, is your leader at the moment. But the high-rent talent, not that Payne is obviously, is in behind charging up. Urich and Kirk Horton, the tail end of the lead lap.
And both of those guys right now fighting for their lives to stay in front of Steve Payne. Payne, he'd like to get up there in some of the clean air and be able to get some RPMs up on that car and see what that car has to offer. Someone else that benefited from that, and I don't believe went into the pits, and it's going to be some good experience for him, is that 71 of David Van Horn. Van Horn, of course, a sportsman competitor here. He has a 358, and boy, look at the man scramble down the back stretch.
And the sun is getting low in the sky, and it is glaring out here. And these guys have got to be squinting hard. It is a pretty scary deal out here. These guys want to gain ground. But, you know, sometimes I think you're absolutely blinded, and you're just hoping that there's nothing in the way. Hearn on the charge already. Had command of this thing from the start. Steve Payne is up there right now, but it was a huge deck shuffle here. I think we dropped the cards on the floor, to tell you the truth. Hearn at 10th at the moment.
And everybody has to race in these conditions right now, so everybody has to go into the sun and down the back straightaway away from it.
Sure. So Hearn, there he goes. 11-time career Eastern States champion, 7 and 358s, 4 of those in the big block division, trying to do it again.
24 starts. This is his 25th start in the Eastern States 200. 4 wins, 4 second, a third, and 3 fourth place finishes. Not a bad statistics for Brett Hearn.
So these lap cars getting in the way. Hearn right on the back bumper. What did you call that? Giving him the chrome horn?
Chrome horn. That's right. That's right.
Sounds graphic, but it is very descriptive.
You tap them once to let them know you're there. You tap them twice to tell them you either find a lane or I'll find it for you.
Hearn looks up high, then down low. Behind Marco Potvin, one of the standouts from Quebec. Potvin is on the lead lap, but he has not yet pitted.
And here comes Alan Johnson. AJ Slideways drives by. the Brett Hearn number 3 used Potvin in the pick and roll, for a basketball terminology, if you will, set him up and was able to take the spot away.
And the crowd in front of our location here in the booth just erupted when they saw Johnson make that move. They were on their feet, pumping their fists. There's a lot of A.J. Slideways fans here at Eastern States, believe me.
Well, we talk about Brett Hearn's success here at the Speedway. Alan Johnson has only won the Eastern States 200 one time, but wouldn't this be a great way for him and that Elaine James Motorsports team to cap what has been a sensational year in the dirt motorsports realms? 3 big block track championships, the
Yes,
Mr.
indeed.
Dirt Championship, and if he can win his second Eastern States, you know they're going to have themselves a party tonight.
Winner in 99. There's your order. Top 5. Gary Edwards, Rick Hill, Frankie Caprera, and Steve Dodd in the top 5.
David Van Horn running back there in 6, followed by Mario Clare, Marco Potvin, A.J. Slideways, and Brett Hearn.
62 of 200 in a wild and woolly Eastern States. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200, the final event of the 2002 Dirt Modified calendar. Once we got some weather, we got the track dried out. Boy, this is classic Eastern States stuff.
You know, I've been watching Alan Johnson. He has been able to drive away from Brett Hearn. Once he passed him for position number 8, A.J. Slideways has just driven away. Now, I've had the pleasure to watch Alan Johnson race 2 nights a week, and I will say this.
That's a good treat.
When the track gets slicker, A.J. gets quicker.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, and it's one of the most amazing stories. If you remember, I don't know how old you are, but I certainly remember Alan Johnson being an uncatchable terror in the 70s into the 80s. This guy was the class of the field. You couldn't get near this guy. Well, a little bit of a personality thing, and he had in and out of one ride into a new car. Never really settled down in the early part of the 90s, but into the late 90s, the millennium, man, the guy's just as good and effective and competitive as he's ever been.
You know when that resurgence really started, and we were talking about this earlier, Eric, is when he teamed up with Mike Maroney.
Yes.
Back in Merrittville.
In St. Catharines.
And when he teamed up with Mike Maroney, he started on a tear. And then, of course, they parted ways, and he had a resurgence in the small blocks with Mike Maroney over the last couple of years. Now he's found a home with Jim Beachy and the Elaine James Motorsports teams. And once you get comfortable, not only in a car, but with a team, you're unbeatable.
One of some incredible stories we're following from you. We're going to have a lot more for you, too. Don't go away. From Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York, DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200. This just happened, and Kenny Tremont's bad luck continues, Shane.
Oh, a tough break for Tremont as Tim Folder went around in turn number 4, sent everybody scrambling. Bobby Varon, the number 97 of Jerry Higbee, just got by.
And the restart has just occurred to turn him loose again. A restart on lap 71 at a 200 chain.
I'll tell you what, Eric, Alan Johnson, somebody has lit a fire under that man's fire suit because he is flying through this field right now. Unbelievable.
He is 3rd at the moment, so Alan Johnson wringing the neck of that Bicknell chassis big block and really gaining ground out here, and the fans are loving this right in front of our location. It's like a football game out here.
Bob McCready is all over Brett Hearn right now like a cheap suit as they work through traffic, and that is the battle for position number 4.
Great battles all over the racetrack. Hearn is on the mission, trying to gain up. Look at those guys dice back and forth, man. It was just inches between these guys.
Jeff Hetzler right there in the 673. Tim McCready. Oh, Hearn picked up the pony tire. Had to get on the brakes to set the car up off the corner.
Hetzler, Jeff Hetzler, the veteran from nearby Wallkill, has moved up to 5th place. So that high-rent talent we talked about, they are moving, boys and girls, and the fans are loving this.
You know, Brett Hearn right now, when he came into the pits, all he did was take gas, and he was a gas and go. I don't believe he changed tires. So just interesting to see how that's going to play out if those tires, he plans to use them for 200 laps.
We got some news in the Hearn pit, and we've got Mark Kenyon with that. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I'm down in the Hearn pit. Let me get a hold of Jay Castlemore as he lugs the tire. Jay, you guys made a fuel-only stop. You're the tire guy. Would you take that call back if you had to now?
Say it again, Mark. I didn't hear you.
Would you guys stop for fuel only? Would you have stopped? Did you want to stop for tires? Do you regret not putting tires on?
The only way we'll stop again is if he has a real bad handling problem. He said the car feels like it's laying down on the right rear. That's not a tire problem. So he's changing the Pan-R bar in the car, trying to get the car to raise back up a little bit and see how that feels. Don't forget we got a full load of fuel on, and
but we're prepared. If we got to change stagger, we'll do it.
Down here in the Hearn pit, and Brett has all these steel cars has an adjustment. They can change what he's talking about, the panhard bar. Brett can reach over and jack on the bar. It raises the roll center of the car. Right now he'll try to adjust on that as the fuel load in, but I'll tell you what right now, I think probably he's not real happy with the handling of that car, and this is not what they planned.
Not what they planned, and as far as the racing goes, our 7th caution. Why, Sheen Andrews?
Well, Steve Dodd in the number 88 machine, a right rear flat, and you can see that tire is shredded, and it's just tearing the sheet metal apart now. He's going to limp back to the pits. And Mark Kenyon mentioning the panhard bar for Brett Hearn, that when you adjust that bar, it allows the car to get more side bite so you get better traction.
You hear about the panhard bar a lot in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, and more or less does the same thing to these cars. Certainly don't break the back end loose around corners. Winston Cup cars don't like these guys, but the panhard bar basically adjusts, as Mark was saying, the roll center of the car. It does things to the back end and how the thing tracks around the corners. So you can adjust those things on the fly. It's just some of the advanced technology. There's not a lot of it in dirt modifies, but a little tweak here, a little tweak there. The difference between a couple of seconds and the difference between losing and winning.
That's right. You hit that sweet spot on the setup, and you are going to fly to the front. And I'll tell you who's found that sweet spot right now is Alan Johnson in the number 1. I know I've said this over the last couple of laps, but AJ is really hooked up with that number 1 Bicknell chassis machine.
Look there at Steve Payne, the Hurricane out of Waterloo, New York, got his big block championship at his regular Saturday night stop at Canandaigua Speedway this year. Our 358 Mr. Dirt champion.
And Steve Payne, boy, wouldn't it be nice to see him end the season on a high note
absolutely.
With their big block program and that Sweeteners Plus number 7X. Anna Carl Myers, the owner of that machine, Carol's Potato Chips, also sponsoring his efforts for 2002. Always like to see the Tweety Bird. If you look at the tail tank, there's Tweety Bird on the 7X
Get me going
machine.
on Tweety.
Yep, it's been a signature calling card of Steve Payne for a number of years.
It's not been absolutely the best season for him.
It really hasn't, because he hasn't won a series race all year, which is an astounding statistic for Steve Payne. Right now he's leading the order. Gary Edwards, Alan Johnson, Hetzler, Pod Van Hearn, the 2 McCreadys, and Vic Coffey, and Jumpin' Jack. Where did he come from? The wily veteran showing some stuff here. That's great news.
And Jack Johnson, no stranger to the hard clay. He has won here before in this Eastern States 200 back in 1985. That's right.
Yep.
Jumpin' Jack, and still running strong up there at the Fonda Speedway. Ran small blocks out at the Utica Grove Speedway. The Witz Roofing, number 12A.
Another one of the good guys in the pits. We're talking about heroes out here and good people. Jumpin' Jack is one of the best guys to talk to. He's got that big accent going in. Nice driving modified. Great guy, great competitor. What a legend.
And he's one of the guys that a lot of young drivers go to for advice. Billy Decker leaned on him a number of years for advice, and look at what Billy Decker's been doing.
Look at this crowd here at Orange County. They are loving this. Yeah, the caps are on and the jackets are on too, but it's a gorgeous, crisp day. We got green. Oh, yeah, we do. Turning him loose again. Lap 79, 200. We are working towards the halfway mark of the Eastern States 200, a presentation of DynoMAX. Thrilled to pieces you're riding with us this afternoon on Rush Hour, and Schultz in the 24 is in trouble, Shane.
Oh, a tough break for Chris Schultz. Look at that. He has torn the front end up in that car completely on the right-hand side. Torsion bars, radius rods are broke. You can see the shock just dangling there, and it looks like he also backed it into the wall as well, as there's damage on the right rear quarter panel. The Liberty rock crushing, number 24, Schultz.
Former sportsman standout here at Orange County Fair Speedway. Man, did he get clobbered. He's got damage all over the place.
And his big block rookie season, which was 2 years ago, the last year that Brett Hearn ran as a regular here at the Speedway, one of his highlights of that year was that he beat Brett Hearn on the last lap for a feature on a Saturday night. Ended up with 3 feature wins that season.
Bet you the crowd loved that.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
I want to give a call to Jeff Hetzler out of Wallkill. He's now up to 5th place. Remember, he lost ground on pit road being stuck behind Whitehead's car, as we had that awful clog on pit road. Actually up to 4th now from Kevin Kovac. So Jeff Hetzler is having a great run too. And we're going to throw it down to Mark Kenyon, pit road. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I'm down here with Tommy Greco. Tommy, you want to let me in on this pit strategy here?
Well, right now, we didn't really have a good day Friday, so we're starting so far back. And normally with this race, Mark, there's a lot of attrition. So me and Steve decided this morning that we're going to stay out and, go for 100 laps. And we're just going to try to put tires on and go back out and see what we can do. Hopefully there'll be a lot of cars dropping in line and see what we got.
It's a long shot, don't you think?
I didn't hear you, Mark.
It's a long shot?
Not a long shot. We got a good car right now, and the car will give us a real good car. And the track's really weird. We chose to go with the hard tire, and we're going to keep them out till 100, 100 and a half, and hopefully more cars will drop out, and we'll see what happens at the end.
Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and the Tommy Greco crew down here with the Sweeteners Plus team is going to try and prove it.
Right. Thank you.
Might be a long shot, but it's not a bad strategy if you think about it from the standpoint that they're looking at, because if they go in lap 100, these guys came in at 50, so they're going to have the rest of the field. They'll have 50 extra fresh laps on their tires. So it's going to be easier to charge through the field with fresh rubber than it would with rubber that's been used up for 50 laps.
Lap 82 is on the counter right now out of a total of 200. And the Hurricane, Steve Payne, is the one who's number one in the scoring order right now. So Tommy Greco giving us a little insight on what their strategy might be. This would be a renaissance event if Payne can stay there. But boy, oh, I'll tell you what, it's not going to be easy with guys like Hearn and guys like Alan Johnson charging back there. And they got a burr under their tail. They want to get up front exactly where Steve Payne is.
That's right. And can't count out Gary Edwards right now in that number 21 car, having a fantastic run. Hetzler right there in the 673. And you know, when the Tour guys come to town, obviously they have a little bit of an advantage because they are used to the extra distant races, the track's getting a little bit slicker, and the throttle and tire management, if you will. But when these guys come to Orange County, you've got Jeff Hetzler and Chuck McKee who are on a level playing field with them. They know how to work that car well. They're going to be around in the end of this race.
There's Hetzler, in the 673 automobile. From nearby Wallkill, just a couple of exits down the 17 here, just in behind us. But there's Steve Payne. RPMs come up as the feet go down. The green flag is in the air. I'm going to turn them loose again on lap number 85 out of a total of 200. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200 Big Block Championship. It's a gorgeous day at Orange County, and we're happy you're with us.
You know, Alan Johnson made a very strong charge to get up there in position number 3, and with Edwards and Payne not pitting, I wouldn't be surprised if you see AJ Slideways just kind of bide his time right now and exert the patience that he's known for, unless he is strongly challenged from somebody behind him.
Payne's got his hand behind his ear listening. He can hear big footsteps back there. He's got Brett Hearn trying to cut his way through the field, and we had Bob McCready on the outside. We are yellow again. We've got a problem right here, and that's going to bring out another stoppage in the action.
David Van Horn in the number 71 machine involved up here in the front straightaway, and Scott Goodrich in the number 30 car also involved. Goodrich is the orange and white car sitting sideways, and this is the 71 of David Van Horn.
Let's go back to the pits and Mark Kenyon.
Right down here in front of us, the Goodrich car and Suitcase Sancelli out on the track trying to find out what happened, see if he's all right. His head is slumped down in the car, and Whitehead took a good hit. Van Horn's car, heavy damage in the back and in the left front. Now I see some movement in the 30 car. That's a good sign. Suitcase Sancelli, the dirt official, right on the scene, rushed right out on the track. He's in the car. The emergency medical people are going to be on the scene. They've got a tow truck out there right now. We'll see if we can get a story for you. Back to you.
The Suitcase on the case, that's for sure. And, yeah, Goodrich was moving around in the car pretty short order there, so I guess Mark couldn't see it there. But that's fine. But that was a hard lick, and
yes,
you always want to get over there as soon as you possibly can to make sure that the drivers are okay, and that's good news.
Well, the concrete is very unforgiving at any racetrack, and it's nice to see that Goodrich is moving around. Took a pretty good lick down there. And David Van Horn's number 71, you can see he is going to need a lift back to the pits on the hook as well, as his car has come to a stop here on the front straightaway.
Lap 87 of 200. There is a lot more racing to calculate, and we'll do that for you when we come back from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Good crew moves on its stomach. Catering for Dirt Motorsports provided by WLR Construction and Frankie's Diner. WLR Construction is a New York City general contractor specializing in commercial custom interior renovations. Frankie's Diner, just across the street from Orange County Fair Speedway, features the finest homemade Italian cuisine. They cater to the race fans with a true racing atmosphere, and darn good we're up to. Dirt Motorsports thanks both of these organizations for their continuing support of dirt modified racing. Well, the ambulance was out there and the crew was out there too. 9 cautions so far as we continue on with the Eastern States 200, a presentation of DynoMAX. Some thoughts down on the track for the latest wreck, and that's Mark Kenyon's story. Mark?
Well, it's too bad young David Van Horn having a good drive. His car looks like it was, heavily damaged, but nothing compared to the Scott Goodyear car. That car took a heck of a lick in the right rear. It looked to me like the frame was broken. That's how hard it hit in the right rear. When they got to him initially, I think he was stunned for a second, maybe unconscious for just a second. But I talked to Sancelli and the dirt official, and he said he's not really sure. He got out of the car very gingerly, walked to the ambulance, but very lucky. But just a testament to these car builders and to the dirt safety standards that keep these drivers safe in a really, really hard crash.
And Eric, as Mark alluded to, these cars, Testament, have really come into play. Strong cars.
Replay here. Man, that was a hard knock.
Wow.
Dust flying. You may not have seen them until it was too late. He didn't have time to bail out.
Yep, the 71 of Van Horn stopped right there in the middle of the straightaway, and the Goodrich number 30 just had no place to go. And what, Mark, as a former racer, can tell us a little bit more, especially about the chassis designs. The safety in these cars have just come so far in the last 20 years. The driver is literally cocooned right in the center of the car.
They're running midships in these machines, and that's a safety factor to be sure. That's Bob McCready hanging the number 9 out on the outside. We have just gone back to green. 9 cautions so far in the contest, moving closer to the halfway mark.
And Bob McCready's going to dive down low under son Tim McCready and look to grab position. Hearn drifts right up the top side of the Speedway as he's got Jeff Hetzler and Alan Johnson right in front of him.
Steve Payne is your leader, but you're telling me he has not pitted. He is yet to pit, so we'll keep our eyes on that. But Alan Johnson up into third place. He's got Hetzler with him and the number 3 of Brett Hearn. Those guys are all on the moves. The shadows are starting to get long here at Orange County late in the afternoon.
And Hearn still running the top side of the Speedway as the Alan Johnson number 1 and the 673 of Jeff Hetzler running the middle and low grooves right now. Hearn seems to be getting a little bit better run down the back straightaway, where Hetzler's getting a better run off of corner number 4.
Different ways the cars are set up, different ways the guys drive them. They're going to pick up speed someplace, but look at Hearn on the outside. He's won a track championship here 14 times, but Johnson got a little hop-de-doo in there in the middle with Hetzler.
And Hetzler got into the back Nerf bar of the number 1 of Alan Johnson. He had to lift, and that allowed Brett Hearn to take advantage as he pounces on the throttle and able to grab position number 4.
Some holes opening up in the racing surface. Some of the cars are banging through those holes and getting a bit sideways. The hard clay is starting to rear its head here. It's classic Eastern State stuff on this surface, isn't it?
And Hetzler comes right back underneath Hearn to take the spot away. And I will tell you this, when Brett Hearn comes back to town here at Middletown, all the Orange County Fair Speedway regulars, including Jeff Hetzler, pick up an extra 10 horsepower on that right foot.
Trouble again. We're going to have to slow it down.
Kirk Horton in the number 7K slapping the concrete. Regular at the Pencan Speedway, races here at the Orange County Fair Speedway, occasionally here at the track. 10th caution on the day.
Exactly.
On lap number 97.
So we're coming closer to the halfway portion of this 200 lap event, the Eastern States Big Block Championship, a presentation of DynoMAX.
Well, we're close to that 100 lap point. Do we see Steve Payne come in now?
Oh, you got to think so. If he doesn't, I mean,
100 laps.
Tommy Greco may have something else in mind, but he told us basically what they're going to do. They've got track position. You've got to pit. There's at least one mandatory pit stop. But, the hesitation is there to give up track position.
And he's not coming in.
No, he's not.
And I was thinking maybe he would come in now because it would give him a couple of extra laps to work with. Gary Edwards in the number 21, who was running there in the top 5 in the Yes Construction car, he will bring it down pit side.
He was running second, and now the crew will go to work down there in the number 21. He relinquishes position, I should say. But Payne will stay up there, and Alan Johnson, Jeff Hetzler, Brett Hearn, right in behind him, Tim McCready as well, to complete your top 5. Fuel going in. This is one of the things you have to keep in mind, that these crews are not normally accustomed to making pit stops. On their weekly tracks, their weekly stomping grounds, they can do the entire distance of the feature without ever having to pit, unless, of course, you've got something broken or a flat tire. So making pit stops, even at Syracuse, is something that crews are not used to doing, and it usually is a big factor in where a driver finishes.
And right now, they can actually take their time, make sure all the lug nuts are tightened down and fastened, and all the gas is put in, the Sunoco race fuel is put in the car. Really no rush. It's not a green flag condition on the Speedway. Plus, there's nobody around them, so they could take a few extra moments to make sure everything was done exactly the way they needed.
Next time around, they'll be ready to go. Big block modifieds, 467 cubic inches, about 750 horsepower. 4-barrel, 4-Venturi maximum carburetor department. 2-speed, high gear, direct drive automobiles, kind of akin to a long, big, heavy sprint car. You pretty much drive them the same way if you happen to be watching these very quick and sometimes strange-looking automobiles for the first time on Rush Hour. Glad to have you. And this is sort of what the old pre-war jalopy-era cars evolved into. Rocket ships of the high aerodynamic kind.
It's a very sleek machine with the body panels and the side panels and just the way the car is shaped.
Now the rumble comes up. We're back under green. That's Bob McCready out of Watertown, New York. Our 94 winner up high, decided to tuck it down in low. But we got Steve Payne in the 7X, the Hurricane out front. He has not pitted as of yet and is reluctant to give up track position, but he's going to have to come in sometime. Does he do it during the green? I don't think so. He's got to have to pick a yellow and hoping to join sometime in the body of this event. But Brett Hearn, 14-time track champion, is climbing through the field.
McCready just bounced off the concrete here on the front straightaway. He got into the white knuckle zone with that right rear tire. And look at who's there to challenge is Jack Johnson. And we've got a good battle for position number 2 between Alan Johnson and the 673 of Hetzler.
Hetzler and Johnson battling. Jack Johnson there, you saw there, the 12A. No relation to Alan and Danny. He's out of Dwaynesburg, New York. Alan from Phelps, New York, and Danny from Rochester. But Brett Hearn is up along the high side here on the hard clay.
Jeff Hetzler just took position number 2, and Bob McCready in trouble. The rear end is broken on the Kinney Trucks number 9, probably from the contact he had on the front stretch.
Good call, Shane Andrews. He banged the wall harder than we probably all suspected, but he's broke something in the rear end, and Bob McCready's day, that bad luck continues. You see the back end of that car all askew.
That's a tough break for Bob McCready. Had a fantastic run going in this DynoMAX Eastern States 200.
So Bob McCready's going to have to park it because that modified is badly wounded. He's going to come down pit road. He didn't park it behind the wall. Down to Mark Kenyon. Take it away, Mark.
Yeah, Bob McCready just went by our pit. He's going to put it behind the wall. The left side radius rod that locates the rear end was busted. So the rear end had just fallen back and the left side completely out. He's done for the day.
Tough break for Bob McCready, but another guy on the move is Jeff Hetzler in the 673. He is really moving up here and moving away from the field. All of a sudden, this car is getting hot in the second half of the race.
It sure is, and he is gaining on race leader Steve Payne as they head down into corner number 1. Alan Johnson still there for 3rd. Brett Hearn and Timmy McCready rounding out your top 5.
Brett Hearn, 11-time career Eastern States champion, 4 of them in big blocks. Collected his 600th career feature win this past summer, and he'll compete in just about a little more than 100 events, and he'll win about 40% of them. There aren't too many racing series, including Winston Cup, including Formula One, even with Michael Schumacher, that have that kind of a winning average. And you know something else? It's rare that he drops away from that kind of ratio.
And you know when he doesn't win, he is awfully consistent, staying in the top 5 as well. So his top 5 percentages also are incredible.
Tim McCready bouncing through those holes, pursued by the number 3 of Brett the Jet Hearn out of Sussex, New Jersey. That's McCready in the 56 and Hearn in the number 3. Good battle there. Hearn will try it up high. McCready has been liking that lower groove, Shane. He's been pretty much there the entire event.
Yes, he has, and that's where his car seems to be working well. A couple of Tio chassis cars doing battle right there, McCready and the number 3 of Brett Hearn.
There's Payne. That's Hetzler in the 673. Nearby Wallkill, New York.
Hetzler in a Bicknell chassis right now, and he is getting quicker, and he is gaining on Steve Payne. He's going to pull right up within a car length behind him as they head down into turn number 3. Payne not deviating the bottom, so if Hetzler's going to want to get by him, he's going to have to go to the top side.
Mark Kenyon, you have more on the Jeff Hetzler story.
Yeah, I'm down here in the Hetzler pits with Ray too. And Ray, you guys stopped. You're good to go. Payne hasn't stopped yet. He's going to try to go to 100. What you guys saying?
We're going to go to the end. We're done, ready to go.
What's Jeff saying about how the car, does he know, did you know or does he know that Payne hasn't stopped yet?
Yeah, he's well aware of that.
So he's just sitting there waiting for him to stop.
Biding his time.
Biding his time, and his crew chief, Ray Tewin, quite a driver in his own right here. Jeff Hetzler knows how to win here at Orange County. Done it many times, and he's trying to do it here again today.
Oh, he's right on the back bumper of the 7X of Steve Payne, but the crew down there applauding, cheering on their guy. You think he was contemplating retirement, Shane, before hooking up with car owner Ray Truitt during the offseason. This is a rejuvenated Jeff Hetzler, winning 4 times here in 2000 and nearly claiming the track championship.
Well, he has been awfully fast in the 673 since they've teamed up, and we've got caution on the Speedway as the pace car comes out and picks up the field as we had one car slow. And, you know, Mark said Jeff Hetzler knows how to win at this track.
Oh,
he sure does.
Absolutely.
And looking through my statistics here, he has never won the Eastern States 200.
No, he never has. He's a former career Mr. Dirt champion. You heard it on the radio. Payne is coming in, the pit stop of the day, at least as far as this term of the race. Mark Kenyon, take it away, sir.
I'm on my way to the Payne. Steve Payne rolls the number 7 right in the pit, Sweeteners Plus car. In the meantime, Brett Hearn also pits. So we've got 2 strategies going. Hearn, slow stop. The crew, fuel only, no tires for Steve Payne. Taking their time, they let him go. He's away. So Steve Payne makes his stop. In the meantime, the other end of the pits, the Hearn car, they're in for tires, so maybe they rethought that strategy. Back to you.
So Hearn in the pits, so that service continues. Payne, we wonder when that yellow flashed, did we see him come in? You heard the radio crackle and the Hurricane on pit road to get that service. He relinquishes his track position, but you know what? That's okay.
That's right. Now, Brett Hearn and Steve Payne now have tires that are 62 laps fresher than everybody else.
Exactly.
And Hearn was very fast off that last restart when he went in, when he did not take on fresh rubber. So let's see what that does now. Now, they did change the right rear, and remember, the right rear will get you through the corner. The left rear propels you down the straightaway.
You're listening to Brett Hearn and crew on the radio. They're usually rather talkative, so we'll see if we can't maybe just shut up here for a couple of seconds and see what they're percolating over. Well, not necessarily radio silence. Marco Potvin coming off pit road as well, but Hearn with some tires and some gas. And Hetzler up front in the 673, and for veterans of Jeff Hetzler are kind of liking this situation right here. 113 laps in the books out of a total of 200. This is starting to get, as if it hasn't been already, very interesting.
And you speak of veterans, look at the veterans in the top 4 positions.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Hetzler, Alan Johnson, Jack Johnson. Running back there in 4th. And you got Timmy McCready and Vic Coffey thrown in the mix.
Chuck McKee is in there as well. He won this race back in 2000. Back-to-back big block champion here at Orange County Fair Speedway. Aha! All the big fish are starting to swim upstream. Hearn's pit, a report from Mark Kenyon. Mark, bring us up to date.
I'm down here with Jay Castmore. Jay Bird, come on over here for a second, buddy. Let me get his attention. He's talking to Brett Hearn, shaking his head. Let me see if I can get in here. Jay, what'd you do? You said you changed compounds. Tell us what Brett just said.
Yeah, I mean, the setup that we went out with obviously was good in the beginning, but as the track changed and we put fuel in it, it seemed, tell him no. It just didn't seem like the car wanted to react the same way down here in 1 and 2. It was okay up there, and the guys are getting underneath us down here. So we're just trying, we're rolling the dice on something that we know about this track, and we're hoping that it'll work. Put a little more stagger in it, and let's see what happens.
And you went with an extra hard.
Yeah, we went to a harder tire. Sometimes, you know, even though it's a softer compound, it looks okay. It's just not doing anything. So we're hoping that this will give us a little better side bite.
Is this a sure thing, or just this is a last hope?
This is. I hope experience, as Ricky Ricardo says. You know what I mean? We're rolling the dice on this. We're giving it a shot and see what happens.
All right, there you got it out of the Hearn pit. Jay Castmore, and he knows tires. They're rolling the dice here in the Hearn pit.
Lucy, you can still be in the show, and let's hope that those adjustments that they've made as we've just gone back to green can get Brett Hearn back up there. But so far, at least at this particular point in time, kids, it's the Jeff Hetzler show at Eastern States.
And Brett Hearn is going to have to use the top side of the Speedway because nobody is going to deviate to the bottom. And you know they're not going to give the Jet any inch or extra room. He's going to have to go to the top, and he's going to have to do it in a hurry.
To talk about Brett Hearn's success, you got guys like Castamore and some of those folks thinking about what they need to do to change tire compounds this late in the race to see if it's going to do some good. You know that you don't just do this on your own. You got to have some excellent brains ticking in the pits to get you there.
That's right.
Before the pit, there it is. The graphic doesn't lie to you. After the pit, he's 19th, so he's got a lot of real estate to gain that needs to get up here. 118 of 200 laps, 82 laps to go. We're here with DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200, the Eastern States weekend. To pull the curtain down on the 2002 dirt modified season, there's Hetzler clicking off another one, Shane.
And Hetzler very smooth as he exits the corner, and we can hear him as he comes down the front straightaway. He's burping the throttle and letting the car coast down into the corners and just easing into the throttle off the turns. Look at how straight he is. Had a little wiggle that time, but other than that, the car is very straight. He's not burning up any tires.
No, he doesn't have to get very violent pitching that thing out sideways, does he?
That's right. Very good handling car for the Hetzler 673.
Hetzler trying to make up for a disappointing situation at Syracuse.
We've got trouble. Caution is out. Frankie Caprera in the FX1 coming to a stop.
Frankie Caprera up against the wall. We're going to sort this thing out and come on back. There's still lots more to tell you about. The Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
You're back at Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, and Pitside with Mark Kenyon. The Wall-Kill Warrior continues to lead the way, Shane.
He sure does, and he is setting the pace right now. He's got about an 8-car length advantage on Alan Johnson as they motor down the back straightaway. You can just see A.J. Slideways a little bit out of the picture, running back there in third. Timmy McCready and Jack Johnson in that 12A. Jumpin' Jack started back in position number 26 and has worked his way up to the top 4.
Hetzler, never a victory in this particular race. 23rd career Eastern States 200 start. His best finish was a 4th in 1984, so this is groundbreaking stuff potentially for Jeff Hetzler. The De Palma 34 appears to be a factor here. You see flashes of him there. He's up here along with Alan Johnson and Jack Johnson and Tim McCready. So he's holding his own. He's one position ahead of Vic Coffey. Just saw him there in the 32.
And you've got Vic Coffey right behind him and the number 19. Key not too far behind. And it looks like Timmy McCready may be gaining in on the Alan Johnson number 1.
There you're looking at Brett Hearn in the number 3 De Palma, being listed as, okay, a lap down. All right, we weren't exactly sure with our timing and scoring up here, but De Palma, the 34, is a lap down. If he just stays out of the way of the leaders, he'll be okay.
And you're looking at the Brett Hearn number 3 and the Steve Payne number 7X. They pitted on lap number 112. They are battling through traffic to get back up and race with the leaders, and I'm sure that they would like to see a couple of more yellow flags to help their cause.
Hearn continuing his climb back. Go back in the field. He was around 18th or 19th the last time we checked. He's been able to click off a few more after changing tire compounds as guys are getting under him in the corners. So Brett Hearn, our early leader, has got his work cut out for him here to try and claw his way back up. 70 laps to go. 70 laps to go. 130 are in the books as DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 here on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, and Mark Kenyon. Reporter. So there's Hearn, the 3. Not going as high as he used to. This is your leader, Jeff Hetzler on a wall kill. He's never won this race before. He's a former Mr. Dirt career champion, but he needs to break through. We talked about it at the top of the show, Shane. You know, you got guys who've won this race even a couple of times. You got some other drivers that want to win this thing and fill in a few of the gaps in their resume, and Jeff Hetzler is certainly one of those guys. We're yellow on the speedway once again.
We've Chuck McKee coming by, and we've got a car up against the wall. Rick Hill in the number 53.
Rick Hill has come to an end here. He's got some damage there on the left quarter panel to the rear of the tire there. So that's going to bring out another yellow. I think that's about yellow number 11 or 12. You can get the count here.
Lafayette, New Jersey, the home of Rick Hill, I'm sorry.
Under his own power, pulling away, the wrecker will pull back into its parking space, and we're going to come down and tell you what's going on here. 132 laps in the books out of a total of 200, so come on back with more stories from Orange County Fair, Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presents the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship. We're live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, Mark Kenyon, Jeff Hetzler is the story, and are the local fans loving this because they always want to see the local guys beat the imported guys.
And while we were gone, Tim McCready took over position number 2, and you hit on a very good point, Eric. The Middletown faithful want to see their men win at their track. And Alan Johnson, as you just see flashed up on the screen, car jumped out of gear on the restart, and it cost him a position.
Mark Kenyon, can you add more to that Alan Johnson story?
Yeah, I'm down here in the Alan Johnson pit. When I saw it, Alan's head went down, and I assumed he was reaching for the gear level. They told me the car stumbled. When he stepped on the gas, the carburetor flooded up for a second, and he didn't go. Tim McCready was right there, pounced on it. You can't make a mistake like that or have a problem like that when that young kid's behind you.
Can't do that, and that's rather unusual to have the car jump on a gear like that.
Well, you know, this team, that Elaine James Motorsports team, has a very thorough maintenance program. They go through each and every car after each and every race. Unfortunately, something like that they don't have any control of.
No, they really don't. Alan Johnson, there's Tim McCready ahead of him. Last year, Tim McCready was going for the win when he slammed the wall late in the race, so we'll keep our eyes on Tim, who's had a splendid run here this afternoon.
He sure has, and right now his car looks like it's not as good off the corners as Alan Johnson's car, as AJ Slideway starting to reel him in. Watch as they go down into the corner. You can see that they will have a little bit of a bobble. He'll stay glued to the bottom side of the speedway.
Brad Hearn is in 9th place. You see him on the inside of the 115 of Kenny Tremont, who was one of our cars into the wall earlier on, but is able to fix repairs and get back. So Hearn's scratch back has been a bit arduous, but at least he's inside the top 10 for the Brad Hearn fans out there, and we know there are lots of those.
And he's got a lot of ground to make up. He's about a half a track behind Jeff Hetzler, race leader, as Hearn works his way off of corner number 4. Hetzler just exiting corner number 2.
57 laps to go. You see the graphic up there. Working our way through. It's been a pretty quick event. We've had about a dozen yellows, I think, but we haven't had a lot of time to... Now we're just going to add another one here. We've got some problems. The car's slowing down. There's a spun car up in turn number 4, and we're going to bring out the yellow, so that's about 13 yellows. Mark Potvin in the 66, one of the Quebec standouts, spinning it around, going the wrong way in turn number 4, and the yellow will come out again. So Hetzler has to survive another restart. He's got Tim McCready running right behind him in 2nd place. Alan Johnson is 3rd. Jack Johnson is 4th. Vic Coffey, 5th place. And Chuck McKee, our 2000 winner, in 6th place at the moment.
Well, it's going to be interesting on this restart for a couple of different reasons, Eric. Number 1 is Brett Hearn. A good driver can pick up a couple of spots on a restart. Number 2 is that problem with Alan Johnson's shifter. Is that going to jump out of gear again and possibly cost him another spot? We're going to have to keep our eye on both of those predicaments.
If it did it once, it might do it again. We'll keep our eyes on the Alan Johnson number 1 and see if there's any hesitation in the number 1 at all. Production support for Rush Hour on Dirt provided by our friends at United Rentals. United is one of the country's largest suppliers of aerial lifts. They extend every effort to get your job done. United Rentals. Couldn't give you the camera angles that we do without the old scissor lifts up there.
That's right.
I like the way they beep when they move along, but that's another story. Jeff Hetzler on a wall kill. New York, not too many miles away from where we're located here in Orange County. At Middletown, New York, the wily veteran holding off the young man in Tim McCready. The green flag is out in the restart on lap 146 out of a total of 200. Brett Hearn on the move beside the Pat Ward 42. Has he got enough time to become a factor? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, go ahead. Well, he's going to have to put the spurs to the ponies, Eric, as we said earlier, he is going to have to go to the high side. He's trying to grab a couple of positions right now.
Turn in the 3, Pat Ward of Genoa, New York, winner this year in the 358 division at Can-Am Speedway. Down on the bottom, Hearn up around the middle portion of the racetrack. You see it there. Doesn't want to go up high as he was before with the harder tires. He's got better grip down in the middle portion of the racetrack. A couple of cars have come together between corners 1 and 2, and that's going to bring out yet another yellow flag, and all of a sudden we're looking at a little jaundice here with a lot of yellow.
Rick Verkaitis in the number 77V involved up there. He is the car closest to us right now, the red number 77, and can't quite make out who the other car is. I believe it's Craig Mitchell, the number 93, Hollywood Craig Mitchell, the number 93 machine.
So 2 cars come together there, entanglement. 77 Verkaitis car, Bicknell chassis machine. You see the graphic there in the rear quarter panel. So, Jeff Hetzler continued to lead the show here, but he's got a lot of restarts to survive. But you're right, he doesn't appear to be fighting the car. Brett Hearn with some adjustments there, Shane, really wrestling with that race car. Alan Johnson wrestling with his car. I don't think Jack Johnson is or Vic Coffey is, but the one difference, if you'll notice it, especially on the head-on shots, is that Hetzler doesn't have to wrestle with that 673 really much at all.
That's right. The car has been very straight off the corners. He's not burning up any tires. He's working the throttle. He's feathering it. Doesn't want to get a lot of wheel spin. Just wants to keep the car underneath him and get a good clean run down into the corners.
Craig Whitehead, one of our early race leaders, well, not leaders, but in the top 3 in the opening stanzas of this race on pit road for some service here. But this may take a couple of minutes to get these 2 cars separated up here. You don't want to just yank them apart. We say this every Saturday night on the PAs. I know you do, Shane. But you don't want to just get up there and just yank these 2 things apart and inflict more damage, because you've got, essentially they're an open wheel machine, and if you just go yanking on things, you can really do some damage, especially in the front end, so you got to do it very carefully.
Well, you can see the shock tower right here, how open that is, the radius rods and the torsion bars right there on the left front, and it looks like the right front of the Verkaitis machine may be caught under the left rear quarter panel,
I think you're right,
of the number 93 of Mitchell. So to tear those cars apart, you're going to rip off the shock tower and the rods and the bars off of not only Verkaitis, but also the bars in the back end of the number 93 of Mitchell, and it's just going to create more damage.
One of the beauties of these machines, we call them modified stock cars, but in essence they are also open wheel machines, as a sprint car is, so you kind of walk that tightrope between a bodied, fendered stock car and an open wheel machine too. So
right. And when these, we've seen it before, we've seen these cars hop over one another's wheels, and once they do that, you get 2 wheels going at the same motion, at the same direction, has a tendency to launch somebody into the air.
Doesn't happen very often. When it does, it can be rather cataclysmic. Well, we're going to get these cars untangled and get back to activity. At the moment, it's Jeff Hetzler leading the show from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York, and the DynoMAX Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship is what it is, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Accommodation for our Rush Hour on Dirt crew provided by Howard Johnson's of Middletown. Howard Johnson's is the official hotel of Orange County Fair Speedway. Call 845-342-5822. Howard Johnson. Back to green, Shane Andrews.
Yes, and it is Jeff Hetzler out in front. Timmy McCready right there all over him. They've kind of pulled away from Alan Johnson's number 1. And look at the scramble off of turn number 2. Everybody looking for that preferred groove as we are less than 50 laps to go.
Big Coffee bouncing around the one of the lap automobiles. Most of the afternoon, but it's still Jeff Hetzler, your leader. Tim McCready in the 56 running second. Alan Johnson in the number 1, the Bicknell chassis machine, in 3rd place. Jack Johnson in the 12 running 4th. Vic Coffey is 5th place.
Jeff Hetzler having a very good run. His car very straight corner, off the corner. Look at that, how smooth that is. Car might be a little bit tight right now as he has opened up a little bit of an advantage, about 3 car lengths now over McCready. And Jerry Higbee in the battle right here with the number 19 of Chuck McKee and the number 3 of Brett Hearn.
What are the thoughts over the last 40 laps or so in the Hetzler pit? Let's get that story with Mark Kenyon.
Yeah, I'm down here with Ray too, and Ray, he's awful quiet on the radio. Saying anything?
He's just riding, just buying his time.
He's got an awful big lead on McCready. Are you guys concerned about fuel or tire wear at all?
Now, we're going to be all right. We've got plenty of fuel, and we got an extra hard tire on it, so we're fine.
Jeff's just a quiet guy, Saturday night racer. In a little while here, it's just going to be a 30-lap feature. You going to tell him anything?
Well, Eric Erman, the crew chief, he's on top of Fred's trailer. He's pretty much telling him what's going on, so.
Eyes and ears in the sky. Eric Erman, one of Brett Hearn's former crewmen. keeping an eye on Hetzler, and Hetzler knows how to get it done, and he's bound and determined.
You're right. This is a breakthrough for Jeff Hetzler, but as Mark Kenyon so poignantly pointed out, this is going to be like a 30-lap Saturday night sprint someplace for Jeff Hetzler. He's got fuel, he's got tires, we're going to have to slow it down here. We've got a car in trouble on the front stretch.
And it's Tony Pays in the number 31 coming to a snail-like pace here in the middle of the front straightaway. He gets it fired up and continues on, and you're right, Eric, it is now a 30-lap shootout to the finish as this is just, it's down crunch time.
Hetzler works for Harry Barentz, nearby Barentz Speed Center. He handles the engine parts portion of that business. Jeff raced for a living in the mid-90s and then decided to scale back his operation and just do some of the weekend stuff. And, you know, you got bills to pay, so you got to do that. And might as well stay with the speed shop parts thing. That's what he knows.
And he's a seasoned veteran. He's raced late models. He's raced 358 modifieds. He's raced big block modifieds all over the Northeast, knows his way around these tracks. And
sure.
I'm sure that the fans in the grandstand here with us today at Orange County Fair Speedway are probably chomping at the bit to see one of their regulars beat the touring guys.
This is caution number 15, and no one is leaving anywhere. They got their cocoa and their coffee. Oh, upcoming events, Fallujah, Speedway Park, the Florida Tour. Yeah, we're thinking about it already for 2003. February the 10th and the 15th, a lot of the fans go on down there, enjoy the warm weather, and see some of the old familiar faces. And the dirt track, Lowe's Motor Speedway at Charlotte, Saturday, April the 5th, 2003. DirtMotorsports.com has got more information. Great track down there. Our old friend Roger Slack running the dirt oval for Humpy Wheeler down at Lowe's Motor Speedway at Charlotte. The fans, NASCAR bred as they are, have really taken to this dirt modified stuff, Shane.
They sure have. Great response last 2 seasons that we've gone down there in trouble on the front stretch. Vic Coffey goes around. Everybody sends scrambling. Coffey gets it fired back up. Wow.
You can breathe now. I don't think anybody hit anything, but it was harem scarum in there for a second. Vic Coffey's got something busted. Whitehead swings around the outside of him, but Vic Coffey has got a left rear tire gone down. Left rear tire has gone down. Everybody bailed out, and man, that was scary because we could have had some hefty contact in there. I don't think anybody hit a soul.
Boy, a great piece of driving by all the drivers to get by. And you know, one of the things that we've got to say is it's a testament to not only the drivers but also the spotters. Anything over 50 laps on the dirt motorsports circuit, they are allowed to use spotters.
So Vic Coffey, that is a shame because he had an excellent, excellent run going. Regular Friday night small block runner at Ransomville Speedway in Ransomville, New York, who had that miracle big block win at Super Dirt Week in Syracuse when Tremont ran out of gas on the last lap. Biggest win for Vic Coffey's career. So he'll bring the Bicknell chassis 32C around and get this tire repaired. A tough break for Vic Coffey. He's had an excellent afternoon to this point.
And you know, he has had some good runs here at the Orange County Fair Speedway as he picked up a top 5 finish 2 years ago in this very same DynoMAX Eastern States 200 race.
Only 4 career dirt big block wins for Vic Coffey since he was Rookie of the Year in '96, including the Eckerd 200.
You know, he only has 4 big block wins, one of them being the biggest of them all, the Eckerd 200.
Yep.
And you know, there's a field full of drivers that would trade 50 to 60 wins for that one win up at Syracuse.
Absolutely. And you know, a lot of folks are saying, he sort of lucked into that. No, not really, because you've got, as we said before, you got to repeat it too, because you know what? Every once in a while, you're going to have an inherited win, but you got to be in the right place. Here's what happened. Coffey went all the way around, and it's bailout time for everybody else.
It sure is. Look at everybody scrambling. A couple of cars bouncing off the wall to avoid hitting Coffey as he spun. And a good piece of driving by everybody.
Tim McCready riding in second place. Anything at all for Hetzler? Go ahead, Mark Kenyon.
We're down here in the McCready pit. You guys got anything for Hetzler? He's awful smooth up there.
We're hoping. It's got a few laps left to see what happens. Timmy's an awful good driver. Hopefully we can pull it off.
This is a big race. Would be the biggest race of his career, yes, no?
Probably yes.
Tim McCready. He's an awful cool kid, you know, for a young guy, and he's out there running in second spot. Hetzler and McCready, 2 cool cats at the front. Young guy, old guy. This is going to shake out nice.
The professor of useless information, McCready's crew rooming in the room next to mine at the Howard Johnson's. Good luck, bad luck, don't know. But right now we've got another caution on the racetrack, do we? No, it's okay. Everything was slowing down there. I thought we had a caution. We're okay. We're under green. But boy, they're really shuffling the deck here. Hetzler, McCready, Alan Johnson. And look at Brad Hearn has moved up. We've got another big problem here. Pat Ward in the middle of this here. All kinds of problems. Look out.
The 66 of Potvin went over.
Man, oh man. Tires are getting worn. They're running out of laps. They're running out of time. Mark Kenyon is on his way down there. as quickly as he can. But we had all Potvin's in the middle of it. Pat Ward got a late hit in there. He's got some damage as well. 1, 2, 3 automobiles up there. 4 actually, as one pulls up from in behind the pileup.
Chris Whitehead involved, so
Yes.
is the De Palma number 34, the Varon number 98, the Potvin number 66 machine, and one other car also involved, the number 22 car.
So we had Vic Coffey's tire go down. Everybody was able to avoid it. This time, they weren't so lucky. So there's the pile. And a few drivers are taking advantage of this to coming into the pits. Chuck Bauer in the 99. We haven't talked a lot about Chuck this afternoon. Vic Coffey's back on pit road again. Pat Ward has just got sheet metal damage, I think, on the right rear quarter panel of that 42P.
And the track blocked in turn number 4, so the field actually had to go around pit road and go down pit road because nobody could make it through.
There's our own Mark Kenyon. You saw him there getting closer. Let's get a replay of this, Shane Andrews. What happened here?
Well, as they come off of corner number 4, everybody on the gas, and it looks like the Potvin number 66 goes around. Oh, Varon tags the wall. And as Potvin comes, that was Pat Ward actually that went around and watched the cars pile in. There's Potvin, and Potvin got up in the air and almost went over.
You're full onto the throttle. The dust is flying. I don't know if the sun was out at that particular time, but there was a problem with visibility. But everything happens. I mean, we can sit here and analyze it 8 ways to Sunday. Everything happens so darn fast. Wow.
Yeah, it looked
reminiscent of that big block crash at Syracuse. Obviously not as bad.
When I first looked up, I see the Potvin car in the air. I thought maybe that he did roll over, but he kept it on all 4.
Mark Kenyon, what do you see?
We're down here with Marco Potvin. Marco, we're in the 31st lap the other night we were talking about. My crash at Scenair. Now here you are. Tell me what happened.
I really don't know. You know, I came off number 4, and there was one car spun to the track, and I really don't know what happened.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm okay.
Marco Potvin, the car heavily damaged. A lot of oil on the speedway here coming out of 4. They're putting down Speedy Dry. Heavy damage to the rear of the car. Down here in turn 4, 4 cars piled up. Whitehead's car. And these guys are done for the day. Marco Potvin, okay, let me see if I can get some more scoop. Come back later. Bye.
C'est dommage, as they say, for Marco Potvin, which is too bad. Bad luck.
Gary Edwards, that car looks like it was attacked by a crazy man with a can opener. Wow, look at the sheet metal. They're just going to rip it off.
Peel and stick now. It's going to look like, well, I don't know what it looks like, actually. Like a little tearaway thing to give you an idea what these things look like on the inside. Remember the sprint car thing we talked about? That gives you an idea.
Yes, it does.
So the cleanup here continues at Orange County as the Speedy Dry, the kitty litter, gets put down. We got some goop to mop up, and we'll do that. And while we're doing that, we'll cut away for just a second. Come on back from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX is presenting the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship. We're live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship on Rush Hour. What a wild and woolly day it's been. Eric Thomas, Shane Andrews, and Mark Kenyon. Hey, Dirt Direct, you got to check it out for apparel, videos, tickets, and all kinds of stuff like that there for Dirt. 1-800-979-DIRT, and DirtMotorsports.com is your connection on the internet to Dirt Direct. Hetzler, the story, has never won this race. He would certainly like to crack that and put that other name on that long list of legends that we talked about, Shane Andrews, at the start of the show. Tim McCready, has he got anything at all for Hetzler? He's in second place. There he is in car 56. Then you've got Alan Johnson in the 1. And you've got Brett Hearn moving up there as well. But we've had ourselves a rash of yellows late in the event. But Hetzler's car doesn't appear to be going away at all in terms of handling.
No, it doesn't. He's getting very good runs down the straightaway, very good corner handling right now. The car doesn't seem to be doing anything evil on him. And, of course, I think a lot of that has to do with the driver, too, as he's very easy on the gas, getting the car to work and respond to what he needs it to do.
So the wrecker removing the Whitehead number 244, a little flash of glory. He was up there near the front, started near the front in by virtue of the time trials for this event. Stayed up there as long as he could, but you know, another chapter of education for young Whitehead.
And you know, it's a learning experience because he was his own R&D research.
Sure.
He built the car from the ground up. Nobody else has a Whitehead chassis, so he'll take that and he will improve on it.
No doubt about it. We mentioned that the last guy I know that could just sort of eyeball a chassis on the floor, weld it together, and run with it in his own construction was Kenny Brightbill. Everybody else using the the Troyer chassis, certainly the Bignell chassis and the TO and a few others as well. But you can put together your own car and run like that. There's a good future ahead for young Whitehead in the 244. All righty, we're green. Let us see what we shall see. Can Hetzler hang on? McCready in the 56, Alan Johnson in the 1, and here comes Brett Hearn. Heil Silver on the outside. Has he got anything for the top 3, Shane?
He's got something for Alan Johnson right now.
Look at
He's
this.
looking to drive by AJ Slideways off of corner number 4. Who's going to get the better run down the front straightaway into turn number 1? It's going to be Hearn.
Oh, the dust is thick out there, but this is the way these guys love this. Hearn in the 3, Alan Johnson on the bottom. How many feature wins? How many championships have these guys banged off together? A whole lot of them. The legendary names are fighting up front, but there's a guy looking to add to that, and that's Jeff Hetzler. He's up front. As long as these guys are fighting each other, they're not fighting him, and that suits Hetzler just fine.
And Jeff Hetzler, as we have said, has never won this race. Neither has Tim McCready.
That's
in
right.
the number 56.
That's right, too. Yep.
Between Brett Hearn with his 4 wins, Alan Johnson with his 1 win, they've won 5 of these DynoMAX Eastern States 200s.
Come on, you're the man. You're hearing it on the radio. That still is... Yes, the scanner is still on Brett Hearn. Say, come on, you're the man. Let's get going here.
Come on, man. Right around
There's still time.
But you know, Timmy McCready's crew is probably telling him on his frequency, hey, you've got company in a 3 car. You need to hold your line, make them go around you.
Look at the difference in attitude of machinery of McCready's 56. He picks up that left front wheel, tricycles the car as he goes around the corner. Hearn with the pressure on, and then you watch Hetzler's car sit it again just as flat and as true as a string going through those corners.
And you know, Hearn's crew is probably right now, they're not second guessing the decision that they made to come in and take that right rear tire on.
Exactly.
Fresher tire, and they had 65 fresher laps than everybody else, and it's paying off as he runs in 3rd.
23 laps to go. That is all. Hearn pitted for tire change on lap 112, and with 23 to go, is back up into the picture and complexion of this race. You haven't won 14 track championships at this place because you sort of just throw it out the window and try something. This guy knows this place so very, very well. Makes his regular weekly home now at the Lebanon Valley Speedway, where he won the Big Block Championship this year. Comes on back to Eastern States and putting on another show. The McCready pit may have a story, and for that, let's go to Mark Kenyon. Mark.
I'm down in the McCready pit with Renee Lapishka. Renee, how cool is it to be down here right in race time?
Oh, it's really cool. We get like front row seats. It's really interesting.
Were you surprised when you won?
Oh, I was really surprised. My sister entered me, and it was kind of, I really wasn't even sure what she did for me.
Did they tell you, the McCready crew tell you, that the winner of the contest when the race is over has to wash the car by hand?
Yeah.
They told you that?
Yeah, they were joking about that a lot last night.
All right, Renee Lapishka, winner of the Crew with McCready contest. Excited to be down here, and her boys in 2nd spot.
That's a great contest to bring a fan down there right into the pits. And we were earlier in the season talking about that contest and who would win it. And the young lady down there seems to be very thrilled until, of course, she has to wash the car.
And you know, if Timmy McCready holds on to 2nd or even possibly wins this race, they may be bringing her to every race after that.
Good luck, charm, yeah. Superstition reigns supreme in this sport, you can be sure. And if they win, they're going to say, you want to be permanent? You bet. Tim McCready's 6th career 200 start here at Eastern States. His best finish in 97 with a 4th, so there's a potential breakthrough there with the McCready 56 too.
And Brett Hearn has fallen back from the McCready number 56 right now, and Hearn seems to have developed a nasty push through corner number 1 and 2. Wow, the car just drifted right up that 3-degree banking, but Alan Johnson wasn't close enough to take advantage.
Which means the car doesn't want to turn when you want it to, and it wants to push up near the wall someplace, so that's got to be a real handful, like trying to turn a full-grown oak tree around in the ground when a car like that is not wanting to turn with a push that bad.
Jeff Hetzler has now worked his way into traffic, and this is where the spotter comes into play, telling him go low, go high, take your time. And Hetzler has to be very cautious about the slower traffic, how he picks his lines, and he is stuck behind a car now as McCready's starting to reel him in. And Hearn right there on the back bumper of the 56 of Tim McCready.
Bad luck for Hearn, 29th place in 2000 and 2001. Mark Kenyon is more bad luck raising its head in the Hearn pit.
I'm down here in the Hearn pit. Let's get a word. What's he saying? The car looks like it picked up a push. He charged right up to McCready, and now he can't seem to get by.
He's happy with the move that we made with the right rear change, but we're having a hard time getting around Tim right now. We're running the same line. We're trying different lines, to get around him. That's where we're at. Budweiser car's doing the best job he can.
Brett saying anything on the radio? Is he quiet?
No, he's happy with it. He's trying different lines. That's why it's shown a little bit of push once in a while.
All right, Brett Hearn looking for bite on this track, and he'll go everywhere in this speedway to look for bite. High, low, but he just fell back a little ways from McCready, so I don't know. He charged up to third, and that may be the end.
And that's a sign of a veteran racer, always searching for a faster line. You're going to see Brett Hearn do it. Alan Johnson is notorious for it. Tim McCready does it all the time. You've got to continually search on the racetrack for the fastest group to where your car is going to work.
And I suppose it's somewhat self-serving, but I always use episodes like this to countermand those out there from the ignorant side who don't think these guys are athletes. You think it's easy to steer a car around this place when it's handling well. You know what? There's a lot of problems if you're trying to do it with a car that isn't handling at all. Is Hetzler running into some problems here? Swinging around on the outside of a lap car. Tim McCready is there, but he looked to be just hesitating a little bit down the backstretch. I saw some necks and heads crane up with concern. Is Hetzler maybe coming off the edge a little bit here?
Maybe, but he's got Jason Barney, and they're running the exact same line right now on the straightaway. And Hetzler is being challenged by Tim McCready. McCready still within striking distance as they go to turn 3, and this is allowing Brett Hearn and Alan Johnson to close in.
Oh, look at this. Lap cars, we got a problem with our leader. Hetzler gets tangled up with a lap car. Exactly what you didn't want to have happen. A lap car gets in the way.
He's got a right rear flat tire on the 673.
Oh, no. Disaster strikes. We were just looking at that with the lap on the wheel. Hetzler climbed over the front end, and now he's got a flat as well. Everything comes unraveled with 10 laps to go in the event. Shane Andrews. The lead is on its feet. Jaws are hanging open. They cannot believe what's happened.
Put that hard tire on.
Unbelievable spread of circumstances.
Oh, man.
And you hear the crews talking to him. They're putting the hard compound tire on when he comes to a stop. Oh, a tough break for Jeff Hetzler.
Down to Kenyon. Go ahead, Mark.
Hetzler slides the car in the pits. They're going to change to right rear only. Jeff is very animated in the car. Slams his fist on the wheel. Big disappointment down here. I'm going to try to get a set with Ray Leon to it. Hold on. He's pounding his fist on the car. Ray, did he say anything?
No, there's nothing I can say on TV.
There it is. That's all it says. Nothing you can say on TV. Big disappointment down here. Jeff Hetzler, strong runner, strong car. But you know what? You got to race the whole 200 laps, and a lap car just took him out.
And the four-letter verbiage is flying down there in the Hetzler pit. Those guys are major league ticked off. Headsets are getting thrown to the ground. They had this thing with 10 laps to go. He climbs over the front end of a lap car. Heartbreak again. We saw it at Syracuse. We're seeing it again at Eastern States. Shane Andrews called this. This is absolutely heartbreaking.
Jason Barney, the number 87, is right there in front of Hetzler, and Hetzler sneaks into the inside, tries to give him a little bump to get him out of the way, and Barney comes back down, and there's the open wheels turning together, and they get together, and Hetzler goes right over his front, and right there is where the tire goes flat when he went over the top of the shock tower, and it deflated the right rear tire.
Tell you, guy's got loose pants right now is Tim McCready, because he didn't know whether that hole he was going for down on the inside was going to close off or not, and the two cars tangled together were going to slide into him. Watch McCready get by here on the inside. Not much of an opening. Get through there if he can. And McCready gets through unscathed.
And look at Brett Hearn. He had to take evasive action to miss the spinning Jason Barney after they made contact. And Tim McCready, wow, just inherited the lead and possibly a $20,000 payday.
Man, it just goes up in smoke that fast. That's why we love this stuff, boys and girls, because you never know what's going to happen. 7 laps to conclusion. This all comes off the staples with 10 laps to go. We are green. What can we do? All right, the story shifts to Tim McCready, ladies and gentlemen. He's never won this, but look where the heat's being applied. It's 11-time Eastern States veteran and champion Brett Hearn. Alan Johnson content to sit by Kitty by the door and see what happens. It's a McCready-Hearn battle in Eastern States. It doesn't get any better than this.
And Hearn looked to the top side, couldn't make it work. McCready brings it down the front straightaway. Now remember, Hearn said that he couldn't get through 1 and 2 as good as he wanted to, so he's going to have to try and make the pass in turn 3 and 4.
This is like throwing Chubb in the water for a shark. Look at this here. Can we get around? If Hearn can smell an opening, he'll go for it. 5 laps. Is there enough time? The tire change was the correct. Side by side with McCready. Hearn and McCready, they bump, they touch. Hearn takes over the lead down the front straightaway. The place goes berserk at Orange County Fair Speedway. Brett the Jet, can he hang on and do it again?
McCready's going to come back and try and kick him in the shins again. What a battle up front, Shane.
Well, the opening was there, and Brett Hearn, he dove into the inside. There wasn't much to work with, but Hearn greased up the sides and squeezed it through.
Oh, man. This guy is not one of the best dirt track racers in America today for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Brett Hearn just got by Tim McCready, and what a round of entertainment here. I don't think Alan Johnson's going to be a factor. Just 3 more circuits, 3 laps around this 5/8 mile hard clay. And Brett the Jet looking good right now. Coming down here.
Wow.
2 laps to go. The rabbit ears, the popsicle sticks, as they say, are in the air. The fans are on their feet. Brett Hearn, can he do it?
He's got a good shot at it right now, Eric. He has opened up almost a dozen car length advantage over Tim McCready. Jack Johnson and Chuck McKee rubbing wheels off of corner number 2.
One more time around now. The fans coming down to the fence to offer congratulations. Some are not offering congratulations. He has his fans. He has his detractors. Look at the Hearn pit. They are an absolute elation. Coming down here towards the end, Shane. Just a couple more turns.
Brett Hearn left to race at Lebanon Valley Weekly. He comes back to Orange County. He takes the small blocks. He will be triumphant in one more corner.
In turn 3. In turn 4, it is Hearn heaven on the hard play. Brett Hearn will come on down to grab it. He'll take his 12th career Eastern States Championship when a field just wrote him off with that tire change. He fought his way back. The early leader got himself back towards the front and pulls off another victory. Man, oh man. We've got a lot to tell you about, a lot of tales, a lot of people to talk to. Jay Castamore and the rest of the crew absolutely elated. Brett Hearn shows you why he has been a 14-time track champion at this place, and as we said again, one of the best dirt track racers in North America.
43 wins now on the season for Brett Hearn. What a year.
From Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York, we're going to talk to Hearn and a whole lot of other folks, so you got to come back. DynoMAX presenting the Eastern States 200 Dirt Modified Championship, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by DynoMAX Performance Exhaust, one of the brands of Tenneco Automotive, by Sunoco A Plus, 24-hour convenience. Advanced Auto Parts, the best part is our people. And by Hoosier Performance Tires, tires designed for champions.
As thrilling a dirt-modified race as we have seen in a long, long time. The victory celebrations in the middle of it, our own Mark Kenyon. Mark, go ahead.
Down here in Victory Lane, Tyler, Brett's son, on the wing of the car, wiping his face. He's been there. Brett Hearn climbs out, up on the roof of the car. Yeah, the big flex. You hear the cheers, you hear the jeers, but Brett Hearn, your winner here at the Eastern States DynoMAX 200. Tyler Hearn, his son, on the hood. Come on down here, Brett, talk to us.
Man, unbelievable. I thought, I wrote you off. I mean, you made that tire change. You came in on lap 112 and you changed that hard tire. I thought I heard you on the radio questioning those guys. Were you even sure of that move?
Well, you know, again, we were fading back to 5th, 6th. We had nothing for the leaders. We had to do something. We had to come in, and my crew made a great choice of tires. Jay is on the tires, and we had a good car. And, you know, but everyone knows the last half of an Eastern States 200 is an awful hard place to pass. Track is really narrow, but we got the car rolling around the top a little bit. We had so many lucky breaks with missing spinning cars and some other issues. Got hit a couple times. We're looking at this bead lock right now. It's amazing that tire's even holding air right there. But amazing run for the Budweiser team again. What a year. I got to thank T.O. Chassis, Andrews Engines, and Budweiser, obviously, WLR Construction, Cavallaro, Kruger, and all those people. Man, I'll tell you what, it's been a heck of a year.
Did you ever have the slightest idea you could win this race? And then take me back to when Hetzler climbed that lap car. What were you thinking?
Man, well, you know, first Vic got spun out by that one lap car down there, and then he gets tangled up with the lap car. And I'll tell you what, when I went by Timmy, there wasn't a whole lot of room. When I got up underneath him, you know, I filled the hole, and he tried to pull it down, and we were rubbing all the way through 3 and 4, you know.
What now? This got to last you for the whole winter, huh?
Well, that's a couple good bucks, for this race and some lap money and everything. So, I mean, I'm thrilled. I'll tell you what a way to end the year.
At 43 wins. Is this it for you? This is your last race of the year? We're going to top it at 43?
Man, I was just trying to get to 40. Now, we do this amazing sweep here in Eastern States weekend, and just phenomenal. I'm living a dream, really.
Small block, big block, 43 wins, his best career ever. I'll tell you what, I think guys are going to have to wait a little while for Brett Hearn to retire at 44 years old. He's like a fine wine. He's just getting better with age.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to use that cliche. No, it really is a phenomenal, phenomenal weekend. Brett Hearn, there's the unofficial results. Tim McCready second. Alan Johnson hung in there, didn't have much at the end, though, for the leaders. Jerry Higbee finishing fourth, and Chuck McKee, the local Middletown favorite, finishes fifth, Shane.
Jack Johnson from 26th to 6th. Steve Payne recovers for 7th. Gary Edwards, Bobby Barron, and Tommy Meyer complete your top 10.
Vic Coffey hung in there as long as he could, then finished 11th. Pat Ward got banged up 12th. Jeff Hetzler, they all wanted him to win, but he'll settle for 13th. Ray Jasembowski 14th, and Jason Barney in the 15th slot.
Kenny Tremont, 16th. Scott Ferrier, Bill Wilson, Craig Mitchell, and the Z-Ride of Butch Tittle, your top 20.
Another guy looking for his first win will have to settle for second place. It's the Littlefoot standing by with Mark Kenyon. Go ahead, Mark.
We're down here in the pits with Tim McCready. Timmy, close, but take us back to when Jeff tangled that lap car and you grabbed the lead.
Well, just Jeff, we had an extra round. We were better on the long run, and Jeff was just right up to that guy, and it's tough racing. The guy didn't really give him no inches. He did. Jeff was pretty much under him through 3 and 4. It looked like to me, and they got the bumping, and it's just luck. You know what I mean? That's the way this game goes. It's luck sometimes. It's lucky. If you're fortunate that your car ain't right in the first 100, you can take tires on and come back up through, and you take your head off the Brett. He didn't outsmart everybody today. He outdialed them because his car was off the first 100. He takes tires. He's got more tire than everybody. When we ran in the top 3 all day, we're not going to take tires, So it's just one of them deals.
So when Brett got under you, take me back there. You were pretty much out of tire. You had nothing for him. When he got under you, there was nothing you could do.
Oh, I don't think we had much for him when he was in third and I was second. It's just I moved up to the middle when he started getting within a 2 to 3 just to see how it was, and it was better there. We got beat because he had a better car at the end, and that's the way this racing game is played sometimes. I'm just happy for John Finch. We needed a good run down the year. We've been terrible in these 200 lappers, never had a finish, so this is the first one I finished in 2 years. So I can't be disappointed. I'm just a little disappointed, and what are you going to do? It's not like we slipped off the bottom. We ran the bottom, he would have went around me. He had the better car at the end of the race, and the stopwatches will tell it all day long.
Well, the old guy Hearn won, but the young guy here, I'll guarantee you, we're going to see this guy standing one notch higher in victory lane before his career is over. He's just starting. Tim McCready finishes second here today, but a great run.
Just commenting, just closing my eyes how much he sounds like Bob. His voice is pretty similar to his dad's. He's inherited a lot of his dad's ability. He will be back, you can be sure. And just looking at some of the flat tires here, we know that Steve Payne has got a flat right rear tire. There was contact when Hearn went in around and got by McCready, and as he said, it's lucky that the beadlock held because he could have had a flat tire as well. Let's look at the top 6 in points, Shane.
Brett Hearn finishes 132 points behind Alan Johnson. He is the Mr. Dirt champion. Tim McCready, Tim Fuller, Gary Tompkins a great year in 5th, and Billy Decker gets a 6th.
So there's the way it works. So that is the story from Orange County Fair Speedway, and that's going to do it from Orange County Fair and the DynoMAX Eastern States 200. For Shane Andrews, Mark Kenyon, StatsWiz Kevin Kovac, and our entire Rush Hour on Dirt crew, I'm Eric Thomas. I've had a blast. So long, everybody.